All right. How's everyone doing? I don't know how audible this particular track is. All right. Fist. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Dren Hatamata. Today I'm going to be reading some more Creepypasta. We are 1,216 stories in. And my god. Some of them are good. Most of them, they're single pages. It's hard to get good pastas out of that little information to be able to put forth. Not everyone knows how to write it out, but most of them generally have very interesting things in concept. So let's not forget about that. Where the fuck is my good pen? Which one is my pockets don't go that deep? These stupid government pens keep falling apart, literally. Oh, shit. Ah, I set it down somewhere, didn't I? Or it fell out of my damn pocket again. And where's the actual pen piece? Where's the right... What? No, fuck! God damn bullshit. Oh, there it is. Okay. Anyway. The last story we left off on was Killer. And that's what landed us at 1,216 stories thus far. Horror reading a week before Christmas? How dare you? Absolutely! See, I didn't include the roulette thing on the readings of horror with, what you call it? October, there we go. Halloween. My wife convinced me, oh yeah, no, you should still keep that up. And then I was like, oh, that affords me a really good opportunity. Which that opportunity is there's only two things left, readings of horror and SNG episode 12. And I was like, wow, next week would actually be a great time for that SNG episode. And right before Christmas, and then right before, I think it's right before Christmas. Yeah, Christmas Eve, actually, in theory. Although I might do it Monday. Maybe. I don't know. I just know how 4-day weekends. I'm going to have 23rd through the 26th off, and 30th through the 2nd off. So between all that, I should be able to get a couple streams in, I think. But yeah, how dare I? How dare everyone else not do the same thing? Anyway, let's move on to the next pasta. King K. Rool Country. I had asked for Donkey Kong Country because I got a Super Nintendo Entertainment System (SNES) from my aunt, and the only game it came with was Super Mario All Stars. After some months, she got it on eBay, and I was excited to play. Everything was normal until I saw the world map. Instead of the normal DK Mountain, it was in a shape of King K. Rool's head, with factories everywhere. Another weird thing was that I was playing as Diddy Kong instead of Donkey Kong. I went to the first level, and it was in a dark factory level instead of the usual jungle, and there was only a straight path to follow. After a while, I found Squawks. When I opened it, Squawks came out, and suddenly a bunch of crushes came out of nowhere and killed me. I noticed that it was my last life. Instead of the bruised DK and Diddy, I saw or Diddy hanging, and Kremlin wearing a black mask. King K. Rool on his throne, and I heard laughter in the background without the music. I pressed all the buttons, but nothing worked, so I turned it off, and then back on, but when I did, there was no music and no opening. It just went to the title, now called King K. Rool Country, with a factory in the background. Not starting out strong with this one. This feels like a very my first pasta kind of thing. You forgot to allude to the game. After some months, she got it on eBay. Got what? I guess that. The sentencing is weird. I don't know, man. Huh. Gaming creepypastas aren't inherently bad, but there's a lot of people who don't utilize those tools very well. You know, and of course, not every single one can be Majora's Mask one, and it doesn't have to be. But hey, what you gonna do? These government pens can write underwater. They can write upside down and everything. But God forbid they stay together. These are crap. Or they stop writing quick, but they'll do everything else that you want to do, whether you want it or not. Excuse me. Mike's a little quiet? Really? Test, test, test. I had to swap out mics. Test, test, test. I did have to swap out mics. My other mic, the connection wasn't working very well. So this is actually one that my wife got, which is it is a condenser mic. Seems to be off-brand. I turned it up a little bit. Test, 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 test. If this is going to be my average voice, this is actually maxed out on my output scale. Is this any better? Is it too much? Am I spiking? And it looks like my Streamlabs is turned off again. Why is CloudBot constantly turning off? No, it's on. What the hell? It's good. Okay, cool. And hopefully I don't yell it out loud and start breaking people's ears. Okay. Cool. King of Creepers. Let me move this a little more. Arms don't move that way. Test, 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 test. Okay. Oh, I can do it like... Can I go the other way with it? Yeah, there we go. Shit. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Cool. Alright. King of Creepers. On a particular day of the month, he will choose somewhere random at once. The person unlucky enough to get picked gets a horde of creepers sent after them. Not by Herobrine, by someone else. Want to know what they call him? They call him King of Creepers. Want to know who I am? King of Creepers. And guess what? You're next. That seems like a mod with too much power. That seems like an admin on a Minecraft server that's overstepping some potential boundaries. I don't know. Ooh. This one's got multiple parts. King of Sand, Part 1. Abisai stood looking down at the corpse below him. The corpse had a large blade wound in its chest. The blood from the same corpse dripped off the sharp edge of Abisai's sword. There were other corpses in the room too, many killed by his sword. He looked up to see his friend Zen, trudging towards him, kicking lifeless bodies out of the way. Why the long face, my friend? Zen grinned, his pearly white teeth standing out against his bushy black beard. We've won. Victory is ours. Many men we have killed today, yes? Abisai sighed, slumping his shoulders. Exactly, Zen. All men with hopes and dreams now dead. Dead! Zen put his arm around Abisai's shoulder to comfort him. These men chose their fate by joining the Black Claws. They asked for us to kill them. Now, to get what we have come for. The vault door was covered in dust, covering the ancient ruins and symbols. Abisai took the keystone and inserted it into the center slot. The door turned as the key did, and the vault was open. The floor was like a golden river, and there were piles of riches and valuables everywhere. The noise of the jewelry being crushed under their sandals could be heard as Abisai and Zen walked across the room. Abisai stood back and watched as Zen reached out for the crystal centerpiece in the throne that stood at the back of the vault. The Eye of the Sand King, Zen exclaimed. The very stone of Renu that Renu used to control the Lost Empire. As Zen reached out to grab it, Abisai noticed some sand falling from a crack in the ceiling. It made a pile on the seat of the throne, but the sand wasn't just piling up. It was forming something. A waist, legs, feet, a torso, a head, and arms. It was alive. The sand constantly moved about, making the body look as if it was made from some sort of liquid. One hand reached up and grabbed Zen's wrist, the other reaching for a crown on the floor by the throne. As soon as the crown was on its head, the floor began to cave in. Zen tried to run, but the creature wouldn't let go. It kept its grip until they both disappeared underneath. Abisai ran. He ran and didn't stop. But despite his greatest efforts, he tripped and was dragged underneath the glistening chamber and into the darkness. You know what? That's the intro to this series. I think that's fucking badass. That made me think, like, oh, this is the beginning of a fucking video game, and we're gonna piece everything together, starting from here, of all places. Very Conan, right? I could definitely see this being very... It feels like this is a game that someone's learning to play, or a movie series that someone's directing, and this is creating like this world. And this is part 1. I think this is really good, as long as there's still follow-up, but I don't know at what point the series was going. Oh man, that's actually really cool. I want more. I hope there's more. That's awesome. Now crush your enemies. Alright. Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Death. I went down to the local yard sale. I had found Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance really cheap and slightly used. I went home and put in my 3DS and started my 3DS up. As I saw the logo on my 3DS, Sora's eyes were blood red and his hands were fuzzy and static. There was no Dream Eater there. I don't know enough about the game to know what's supposed to be there. I chose to create a file, but the only difficulty was critical mode. I really wanted to do this mode after I beat the game, but I was fine with it now. There was no cutscene or tutorial. It just shoved me into it straight into the Ursula battle. Oh my god, she had a lot of graphical bugs like Sora's hands. She had hardly any health and there was no Riku, but I heard and saw attacks going off. Sora's Keyblade was not there, so I thought fighting with punches? Yeah. The Ursula battle ended and the game skipped right to playing as Riku. He was invisible like his Keyblade and there He was invisible like his Keyblade, and there was a lot of weird noises coming from the 3DS that sounded like voices but muffled. I went through the door, then my 3DS stopped running the game, and I couldn't press home, so I turned it off. When I reloaded my game, my save file skipped to the world, and it wasn't meant to be, but the DS called it unknown data. This time Riku was visible, but he was just a giant static figure. I somehow got into a fight with a black coat nightmare, and the battle was easy, and all he did was stand there. Then it makes its own cutscene, where the black coat nightmare took off the hood and the 3DS crashes and erases all the data. I reloaded my 3DS and go back to the game where there's static noise for 2 minutes and static noise went in until it died down. Then my 3DS screamed at me and I threw it against the wall and never played the hand console game ever again. No, this one just doesn't work that way. Sorry, but you go ahead and start off. I feel like most of the game ones need to start off subtle, and if you're going to do them, it either needs to, most of the time, it needs to just stay in game, and that there's something that feels compelling that would compel anyone else in order to keep going on. But like at this point, it's like, okay, this isn't the game that I wanted, but I only spent $1, so I can just toss it at that point. In theory, right? It's just because there's a lot you can do with the 3DS, right? Because now you have the dynamic, because you could utilize the fact that you have the 3D setting, right? You have the 3D setting, which is really cool, and you don't even have to worry about with like any special classes, and you can use that to your advantage. Where like it's a cursed 3, I don't know, maybe it's cursed 3DS would actually kind of work in regards to like what you could throw in a way for it to actually kill you, because the whenever you're in the 3D mode that everyone always wants to try, it ends up throwing something at you and actually hitting you with something or stabbing you in the face. Like I feel like there's some missed opportunities with like 3DS in particular, but when it comes to video games, it's really hard to make them reasonable, because I feel like most of the time, again, you want to go subtle with anything. Otherwise, it just kind of feels like it's very much in your face what's happening. I think it should kind of work kind of like how people do ghost stories, like where it's like you see something out of the corner of your eye. It's like where something comes up, but it goes by it, and if you try to recreate it, it doesn't happen. I think that would work a bit better. And anything that would be outside of the world needs to be something that's not directly connected to something in game. Like, I don't think it makes as much sense to have someone like send a letter if you didn't already send out something. And another one is like there someone is trying to communicate through the game in one way or another, and it's just once they reprogrammed it, once you find out that information, you send it to them. They're just biding their time otherwise. I can buy crashes though, crashes and data erasure being erased. I think that's fair. I think that makes enough sense. And of course, you get traumatized, you don't play again. Yeah, that's fine. Um, I don't like. I guess I don't like it when it like takes something that the system just can't do, like screaming at you. If it screamed at you louder than it could possibly, I think that kind of takes out of it. Like if the scream itself isn't enough, but I'm harping on this too much. I'm harping. Let me just move on. All right. Kirby's Death Ride. I had recently found my GameCube after being lost for a few months. I couldn't wait to use it. I started looking through my games and found my old favorite one, Kirby Air Ride. I started the game right away. Just watching the opening cutscene made me remember all the fun I had with this game. The game ran normally except when I got to the select mode screen. The only option was City Trial, so I chose it. Upon choosing Upon choosing it, the music stopped and I was thinking maybe it was scratched up enough that things were screwing up. After all, it was being piled under all my games for all that time and had lost my GameCube, so I ignored the little screw ups. I chose Start Game, but instead of showing me a tutorial, text appeared on screen reading, "You caused this." I was starting to get freaked out. The game then the game then went to the player entry screen, and this is when I suspected something was wrong. The background was all black, and when I hit A, the game started automatically. Instead of showing the words City Trial on screen, it showed Death Trial in black text. Then the game started. The background was all dark, but as usual, the CPUs were messed up. And by instinct I broke their boards trying to get stats. Upon breaking them, their Kirby fell to the ground and didn't get up. I did this to all the CPUs, and after breaking the last board, text appeared on the screen reading, "Why do you continue to torture us?" I wanted to stop playing, but the text made me want to find out more. The game brought me to the end results screen, but instead of showing the CPU's stats, it showed retired, like it does if your board breaks during the race. I started up the stadium. It was King Deity's fight, and he tried to run away, instead of trying to attack me. I grabbed the sword ability and chased him. I hit him, and then when he was in a corner, and he fell to the ground. Text appeared on the screen again saying, "Kill him." Then, for some reason, I had the option to choose yes or no. I chose no, but nothing happened, so I chose yes. The screen faded to black, and all I heard was a slice. City Trial started again immediately after this, and this time Kirby jumped off the compact star and turned to me. His eyes became all red, frowning instead of smiling, and said, "The voices in my head are back." The game started. This time it said Kirby's Death Ride. I watched the opening cutscene once more. This time it showed Kirby with the text box saying, "Why did you make me kill them? You're the monster, not me." The screen faded to black once more, and when it was visible again, it only said Death Ride. It didn't let me continue. Whew. The warp star came The warp star came by on the title screen, but no Kirby. The next day I tried the game, but everything was working perfectly. I had this game for years and it never screwed up. Now, I can't play the game without being creeped out. Okay, so this one to me actually does work better. Um, I think it does well. If I had, I mean, I can't say it's good necessarily, but it definitely. This is someone who's written before. Maybe even took a creative writing test class, but he knows more than not. So like he did a little bit of subjecting, like a little bit of show don't tell, and kind of brought it to like a point where it's like you do want to like look up for more. Why am I yawning so goddamn much? Holy shit! Do I just need coffee? I might need coffee. Fuck. Yeah, I guess it'd be the text equivalent of show don't tell. But it's this one it was more interesting. It's still not as good as I want it to be, but it works better. Oh, excuse me. Kitchen Island. If you have a floating kitchen island, you know the feeling. When you're waiting for something, you just seem to gravitate towards it. You circle it, and while you do so, you will slowly develop that feeling that you're being watched, that something or someone is following you. You try to shake it off, tell yourself you're being silly, but it's still there, making the hair on the nape of your neck stand up. And you're right, something is following you. It has no name, no gender, no age. Those little details don't matter to it. Who you are doesn't matter either. All that matters is that it is hungry, but is also patient. It can wait for you to turn around, because one day the feeling will get to be too much. You will turn to reassure yourself that there's nothing there. And then you will be gone, forgotten, as if you never existed in the first place. Just like me. But you don't have to believe me. You can just turn around the next time you get that feeling and prove it to yourself. Alright, this is my first pasta, inspired by that creepy feeling I get when I walk around my kitchen island. Constructive criticism is welcome. Okay. You know what? It's not bad. This is another one of those ones that I think uses a small amount well enough. Because like when you only have if you're trying to I don't know if you were he was trying if this person was trying to make it as scary and as few as little words as possible. But no, this actually works pretty decent because it's begging the viewer to test it basically. I think that's a good I think that's actually kind of good to do. If I had to suggest anything, um, yeah, actually, I'd probably describe a little less of it and what it wants. Like, I would say put more to describing its mentality. It has no name, no gender, no age. I wouldn't even say that much. Those little details don't matter to it. Take out that sentence. Who you are doesn't matter. Take out that sentence. All that matters is like, yeah. You take out that something is following you. All that matters is that it is hungry, but it is also patient. I think you could have skipped all that and gone to that and talked more about like what it wants. and see if you could actually make it any more vague. So that way it's just left up to imagination. Just like, and then it also gives, and then like also, maybe a way to beg people who don't have an island, a kitchen island, of like saying, uh, and if you don't have one, either you're lucky or maybe find someone who does, or maybe you're it, or something like that. Maybe. That might be corny. Anyway. Hmm. I might need to go ahead and get some to fucking wake me the fuck up. Jesus. I had coffee this morning. Apparently it wasn't enough. Probably because I'll drink coffee and an energy drink. And I've only had 1 cup of coffee. Granted, it's death wish, but I mean, still. I don't know, let's see how long I can last, I guess. Alright. Kleiner Damon. I live in a small town, off in the middle of absolute nowhere, and the people here are superstitious. I often heard that the legend of Kleiner Damon, or Little Demon, but I never paid much attention, and dismissed it as a fairy tale. The legend states that every night past midnight, an evil spirit roams the streets of our little town, hunting and killing all he finds, dogs, cats, and even humans who are unlucky enough to find themselves out past midnight. I had gone to the house of one of my friends with the intent of spending the night there, who had played around in his house for hours played in his house for what seemed like hours, when we heard his mom walk into the room and tell us that it was bedtime. Being the adventurous type, my friend suggested that we sneak out and with his mother had gone to sleep. Before long, we had found ourselves on the back of his porch, the time being 1:30 a.m. We decided we'd go to an old park and hang out, seeing as it was only the only interesting place to be at this time of night. On our way there, we heard something rustling coming from behind us. We looked back to find nothing. We nodded it off just as the wind, but I couldn't shake a weird feeling I got. We got to the park and hung out for a good 2 hours when we heard more rustling. We looked over and saw a shadow racing in the moonlight. We both knew that both knew what was going on now. Before saying a word, we both bolted towards his mother's house, with the sound of heavy footsteps growing ever closer. I took over I look over to my friend and finally saw what was chasing us. It was a strange creature, humanoid in appearance, but was black as night, and eyes that glowed crimson red. But that wasn't the worst part. He had a horrifying, disfigured face. His face appeared as though it had been sliced, taken off, and put back upside down, and his mouth, a black hole filled with spikes. He lunged forward and grabbed my friend by the back, tugged him to the ground, and knocked him out, and proceeded to do the same with me. We woke up in a small room that smelled of death. I looked around and saw bodies, but their skins having been torn off, organs mutilated, flesh torn from bone. I screamed at the top of my lungs, but fell silent when I saw him. He proceeded to gouge open my friend's stomach, pulling out his entrails and forcing them down his own throat again. He slowly began skinning him, as he screamed in agony. And the last thing I saw before meeting the same fate was the sick, twisted smile, as I felt his claws plunge into my stomach. You know, I really think this is one where the kid should have survived and been haunted by that and been seeing it. I feel like that would have had to make it longer, but I feel like this should have definitely been one of the ones as like had they need to survive. In part because now you have to explain how the hell you wrote this and post it to the internet. I mean, shit. The ending kind of kills it for me. Because, like, up until, like, most of the second paragraph, it's like, okay. You know, and then they're just not the same for the rest of their lives. He saw it in a dream. It'd be nice if that's what was said, but, like... Man, I don't know. Like, I feel like the ones where, like, they're writing something down and someone else finds it, finds what they wrote, tends to work better, and they're like, hey, this think about it. Because, like, I love the journal entry ones for some reason. Because it's like someone actually, you know, having to look back and figure out and piece together something. Knife taker. We had duct taped a knife to the end of a 10-foot metal pole for the sole macabre purpose of puncturing and relieving the pressure within an extremely bloated dog corpse that was wedged between the joists under our house. One of the more brave ones among us entered the crawl space and did the deed. As he emerged, he saw he had grim news. The knife wasn't attached to the handle anymore. The handle itself was still taped to the pole, but the blade had apparently broken off between the ribs. The effort was called off, and the property abandoned immediately thereafter. When the dog came hobbling out of the crawl space, dragging its blackened entrails wetly across the soil. Zombie dog? This feels like I have some missing information. This feel. Does any of this feel familiar at all to you? Because this feels like something I've heard of. I've not something I've heard of, but something that is contingent on knowing something else to like really understand what's going on. Is there like an urban legend I don't know, or an event that happened where this felt like the case? Is there a haunted house that had something to do like that? Alright. Knock at the door. Sleep. That's all I wanted. Drift off into a world full of impossibilities. A place where all the troubles of the world drift away. Not tonight, though. Tonight, an unwanted visitor knocks on my front door. He knocks repeatedly with the same sounds. Over and over again. Why is it here? What does it want? Does it know I want to sleep? It must be one of those local hooligans. I wish I could just take my shotgun and shoot their brains out. Slowly wash their blood off my body. Damn it. So close. God, why must I be condemned to this? If I want him to leave, I guess I'm gonna have to go and tell him. Why is it so persistent to be let into my home? I have nothing worth taking. The objects in my house have sentimental value, or none at all. damn it. It doesn't matter. I just want to sleep and dream peaceful dreams. Get out of my bed. Open my bedroom door. The thing that was knocking was right outside my bedroom door. Oh. That's not good. I assume by Zan Cruz. And that, okay, I like that one then. Now, wow, that ending really brings it together to me. You have no idea what it is. All you know is it's what was knocking, and the rest is up to you. I like that one. That's pretty cool. Oh, this one was a video. Knock. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. 2 sentence horror stories, dude. Fuck yeah. That's actually pretty good. Hold on. I want to see if, does this still exist? Oh. Hold on. I think this is actually a skit. Oh, let me do it like this. Watch on YouTube. There we go. Oh, come on. Oh, excuse me. Whoa, is it frozen? Everything else is... Whoa, hello. Okay, there we go. Alright. The last man on Earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock on the door. Is it just this repeated? Okay. Oh, that was 12 years ago. Jesus. Oh, dude. That a view to you, man. I don't know. Check the shit out. Fucking. Oh, it's unlisted too. Damn it. 2 sentence for stories for the wait FTW for the win. Not apparently it does not mean fuck the world, as I understand it. I'll just say rule. Yeah, I like that one. I really do. Oh, that gives me the goods. That gives me the goods. All right, let's make this back. I'm surprised that was still there. That's awesome. There we go. Because I would not have expected that. Fucking floor. Yeah, just imagine that being the only person. Well, I mean, in any case, if you're the only person in a house, and then you hear knocking, but you're not expecting anyone, it's creepy even then. And you're sitting there like, oh, what the fuck? Alright. Knocking on the walls. The knocking. It's been hours since it last happened. The knocking. The knocking is what I heard all day. I can't leave. The handprints on my walls are the hands of the knocking person. I can't leave because he must get me. I must knock with him. The knocking on the walls will never end. By Retardo the Magnificent. I mean, that's interesting. What's is it mirrored? Like, I don't know what the implication is. Hours since the knocking is what I hear all day. I can't leave. The handprints of the walls on my walls are the hands of the knocking person. Is it implying that he himself are that? And like, what is he doing to knock? I don't know. This is very odd. Oh, hello. Knocking on the window. Oh, actually, you know what? I haven't been. I need to clip. I need to be clipping these. I am a Dumas. My Cloudbot's not doing the thing. I am a Dumas. Alright, so there's that one. I can't believe I've been forgetting to fucking do the clips. Oh, I'm so stupid. I can do this one. Alright. King of Creepers. On a particular day of the month, he will choose someone random at once. The person unlucky enough to get picked gets a horde of creepers sent after them. Not by Herobrine, by someone else. Want to know what they call him? They call him King of Creepers. Want to know who I am? King of Creepers. And guess what? You're next. Yeah, let me just go ahead and take care of this real quick. Alright. Third day of the month. On a particular day, King of Creepers. On a particular day of the month, he will choose someone random at once. The person unlucky enough to get picked gets a horde of creepers sent after them. Not by Herobrine. King next. You're next. There we go. Gotta make these. Gotta make these. I can't be messing this up like that. Alright. Here we go. Knock. The last man on earth sat alone in a room. There was a knock at the door. It's a good one. It just is. Knock. Knock. The last man on earth sat alone at the door. There you go. Just, you gotta load it up. If I really need to do a bunch of fucking clips, apparently Creepypasta is the way I need to do it. Alright. I think I can do this one. Knocking on the walls. The knocking. It's been hours since it last happened. The knocking. The knocking is what I hear all day. I can't believe the handprints on my walls are the hands of the knocking person. I can't leave because he must get me. I must knock with him. The knocking on the walls will never end. Knocking on the walls. Knocking on the walls. End. Alright. Damn it! Fucking perspicacious ass body keeps picking up the damn papers with my skin oils. Sorry, I got to make up for lost time apparently because I'm a Moran. I am Samdam Fool. Right, and then knocking on the window. Alright. Knocking on the window. If you hear a knocking on your window, don't open your eyes. It may not be outside one. Damn it. Perspers. Yes. Oh, I'm close enough. Knocking on the window. If you hear a knocking on your window, don't open your eyes. It may not be outside wanting in. It may be inside wanting out. Damn it. Perspers. Yes. Oh, I'm close. Knocking in the knock knocking on the window. Wanting out. Alright. Knocking on the window. Not nicking. Knocking. Knocking on the window. Pushing clip and okay. There we go. Now we can continue. Okay. Oh, there's a credit. Oh my god, there's a credit by Pikachu 8091. Oh my god. We almost never get credits, dude. It's insane. Alright. Knowledge. What if the mentally retarded, the extremely disabled, what if all those kinds of people who have no way of communicating, are born with all knowledge, but have no way to share it? Like, what if they know all the world's secrets, all the answers to life and afterlife? What will happen and what happened? Where this came from and where this will come from? What if they know that? What would it feel like to know all these things and be stuck with them? And what if they were angry, being considered the idiots by the rest of the population, even though they know it all? And what if they want revenge? What if I told you I was one of them, and that I had figured out how to communicate? And what if I was one of the people who want revenge? Then what? It doesn't matter. See you tonight. By Pikachu 8091. I don't appreciate the R slur, but 2013. Pretty sure it was still there. I'm not defending it, but I know why. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, imagine someone not being able to speak, knowing all the answers to everything that anyone else would ever want, but not being able to give anyone that information. That'd be interesting. Oh, dude, Krampus, fuck yeah! Yin must have yang. Ah, sweet, dude. Krampus is cool. Oh, what the hell? The Streamlabs still isn't posting. And I don't know why. No, I don't know why. You know, maybe I need to fucking take care of some stuff. Like run some experiments and stuff on my channel while I can. In the next couple of weeks. I don't know why these aren't working. I've got the lines down. Uh oh, now they're working. Okay. Fucking I don't know what that was all about, but sure. It was a different time. Yeah, unfortunately. That was about the best excuse you're gonna come up with, because I feel like, you know, a lot of people are fucking guilty of it, and we grow up and we learn differences and things, and like, oh, there's a reason that, and we get more specific and understand, like, oh, this is what things actually are. And it's like, okay, maybe we should try and not take people for granted. And that kind of stuff. I don't know. Not that I don't still hear it from everyone at fucking work. That makes me want to use it on them. I hate them sometimes. Oh, but enough about my bitching on a job where sometimes I do fuck all and get paid for it. Seriously, I've been typing out the scripts I wrote by hand while I was at work, and now I'm just typing them out on my tablet with a Bluetooth keyboard. The only thing I don't have right now is a mouse, and I'm thinking about getting a tiny mouse for it. I'm not joking. I've done this the entire day before. There are times where we just have so much downtime, it's insane. And I don't think it's gonna get much better through Exodus. But whatever. Moving on. LOL, yeah. Krampus. Our universe is built upon the number 2. In our cells, DNA is comprised of 2 helical threads. Matter has its opposite, antimatter. Computers run on a code built with on 2 digits, 1 and 0. Likewise, mythology is built around good and evil, 2 forces that oppose each other, oppose each other in both action and purpose. God has his counterpart, Satan. Jesus has his opposite, the Antichrist. This pattern even shows up in the polytheistic mythology. Thor has his counterpart, Loki, and the Olympian gods in Greek mythology have their opposites in the Titans. However, one of our most popular mythological figures, Santa Claus, has lost the tail of his opposite, called the Krampus. This being dealt out punishments to the wicked children of the world. For the particularly nasty children, the Krampus dealt out the harshest punishment, abduction and death. Over time, as mankind expanded its command of the universe, our technologies and our own actions took the places that were once held by mythological beings. Nowadays, parents indulge their children with gifts, displacing the old Santa Claus. However, there exist parents who snap and do unthinkable things to their children. Every year, our news media carries stories of parents gone over the edge, almost like they were possessed by a demon. With no Santa Claus to reward the righteous and no punishment for the wicked, both forces are unleashed indiscriminately against both good and evil. For every naughty child rewarded, a counterbalance must exist. Yin must have a yang. By Yam Kastan. Okay, I actually like this one a lot. The idea that getting rid of Santa Claus and Krampus make it to where now it becomes an issue from another point, that's kind of interesting. That's pretty cool. Uh, it's not outside the realm of things that have happened either. Like, people are screwed up. They do things that they shouldn't be doing. Hmm. Man. But a lot of people know about Krampus. But as far as like DNA being like that, or matter having its opposite, antimatter is kind of questionable on like what exactly it is. I'm not sure that there's necessarily a matter that has an opposite, but that different matters have opposing or or of most or a I mean some atoms have a another atom of most contrast. It's kind of like um pink and green are contrast each other the most in that area. They're at the most contrast as far as spectrum, but they aren't opposites. It's kind of like people say salt and pepper are opposites. They're not. Salt and pepper are often complements as far as flavors. You don't often see salt with something sweet or pepper with something sweet, but sugar would be much closer to an opposite of pepper. Just arguing things. So it's just kind of one of those things that some of that, but I'm being pedantic, I guess. Um, Computers being built on two digits, 1 and 0. Technically, it's not built on them as being digits, but being power or no power in order to create logic gates. That's a whole nother discussion. It's whether or not you have a voltage or don't have a voltage, and it creates a saves and it creates a state for whatever that component is. Um, and as far as digital code, I mean, holy shit! How do you want to do it? You can have a base 2, base 8 system, a base 10, base 12. I saw something that apparently the reason why we have 60 seconds and 60 minutes is because it came from a base 60 number system, and I'm like, I kind of find that hard to believe, but also I have no clue, and it'd be really cool to see it. So, hmm. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I know these pictures. I know these pictures. Kuchisake Onna. Kuchisake Onna is the legend of a Japanese woman mutilated by her jealous samurai husband, who in murdered her for infidelity, scarring her horribly and leaving her repulsive. Her jealous ghost still haunts places in Japan. Usually on foggy nights, she wears a surgical mask, and she will approach people and ask shyly, "Anata wa watashi ga utsukishi to omoi masu ka? To omoi masu ka?" Do you think I'm beautiful? The person usually responds, yes. Then she pulls down her mask to reveal an ear-to-ear grin, cut by her jealous husband to mark her for her life. Even like this, she will persist. If you answer no, she will reveal a pair of scissors and cut the same gruesome smile into your own face. If you answer yes, she will disappear. And the second you go home, she will reappear at your door and finish the job. There are several ways to prevent this terrible fate. One, to confuse Kuchisake Onna by saying, you are average. Two, present her with hard amber candy, which she'll take much delight in and let you go. 3. Say, pomade. It's pomade or pomade? For this, pomade. 6 times, and she will then flee. 4. Ask her if you are beautiful, which will confuse her, hopefully long enough to escape. Be wary, she is said to be incredibly fast, and will be unlikely to stop. She has been seen from 1970s until the early 2000s, often seen lurking near children whose innocent answer of yes, when asked if she is ugly, will lead to their deaths. So I like this urban legend a lot. It's definitely one that I've kept up with somewhat. I remember when we first found it, it really creeped me out. Slit mouth woman. So yeah. It basically becomes a yokai, I'm pretty sure is basically how it's seen. 2007 movie Carved, a slit-mouth woman. So it looks like these images are from that movie. So like, so let me just pull it up real quick. Da 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 da. Okay, yeah, there we go. And this image, these images aren't really that bad. I can see it being considerably grotesque, but these to me weren't that bad. But there are. Where's one? Whoa, what the hell? Oh, is that one of the kids she apparently gets? Okay, that's much more gruesome. Shit. Interesting. Uh it's all the movies. Okay. Cuz I've seen pictures that I like that are better than that than this movie adaptation. It's really very much like, yeah, kind of like these where it's like when you say ear to ear, it's not this jaggedness. And then of course there's also the YouTube. Ooh, there's one for you. Yeah, the ear to ear things, like that's not so much ear to ear, and also that would heal back and probably wouldn't be too bad as far as scarring, but more like a Jeff the Killer thing where it's like it looks like the jaw can hang all the way down. That's I found to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely throws more into it. But I don't think she should do it with scissors. I think it should be like with with swords, like a small knife or a wakizashi, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's neat. Am I gonna run into one of these like that's all in a different language and I'm gonna have to translate all of it? I might, because I I have no idea. Okay. I'm getting confused on my taskbar. There we go. La Misericordia. My grandmother was over. My grandmother was over, she's Mexican, and she has very selective taste in entertainment. I was looking for, like the TL notes and manga fanlations. Yeah. Translation notes. Yeah. May or may not be particularly accurate at this point, because their words don't work the same way as ours. She has very selective taste in entertainment. I was looking for something to put on for her so that she can watch, and I found what seemed to be a Mexican movie channel, and I decided it might be interesting for her. On the channel guide, the title of the current programming was this: La Misericordia, 1956, no description available. I thought she would like it simply because of the age of the film, but when I turned to see if she approved, she was fast asleep. I changed the channel anyway. I wish I hadn't now. What I saw was this: an old black and white Mexican film featuring a woman singing a melancholic and slow tempo song. In the background, you can hear a person crying terribly. Kinda like how you'd imagine a person would cry knowing you were about to die at the mercy of a twisted serial killer. The crying became louder and louder as the woman started to cry too. Far more believable than an actress of her time could muster up. She looked uncomfortable and depressed, and as I started to feel dread, the screen turned black. It stayed this way for about 3 minutes before I decided to change the channel, and when I clicked it back to see if the scene finally transitioned into something, I simply couldn't. The channel simply didn't even exist. The Crying Woman by Spencer CVX. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that. Best viewers on stream. On the best viewers underscore on streamblue.com dot space com. Remove the space. Yeah, no, we're not fucking doing that. You are a bot. Not going to fucking do that shit. Goodbye, sir. I do like that it gets deleted on Streamlabs too. Damn it, that pisses me off. It pisses me off like a motherfucker. I don't like having all these fucking bans under my channel like this. I really don't. Because, okay, keep in mind, how many of them now? Da 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 da. I had to approve, grab his meat. So there's 1, 2. That one's still up. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, now 15, and like 2 or 3 of them still have the usernames up. And then one of them gave me a message that said, do you already tried streamviewers.org? Real viewers? Okay. Message deleted with Dren Hatamata. Yeah, and deleted that. And then some of them were like, hey, we think this is someone that's fucking dodging. Trying to circumvent the system. No, fuck that shit. This door looks upside down. And the handle's not in the right place. This door makes me upset. I don't like it. La Nuit. In France, a young ambient musician by the name of Charles undertook an interesting new project. He was going to record the sound of himself sleeping and release it under the name La Nuit, the night. Charles lived alone in a rural area, which would remove things like car alarms, traffic, and such from being recorded. He planned his project for many months, acquiring the sensitive equipment to capture all outside noises, as well as his own during sleep. Finally, on the 27th of September, he decided to execute his plan. He set up all his equipment and fell asleep at midnight. The next day, Charles reviewed the recording. For the first hour, the recording played his own tossings and turnings as well as some distant dog barks and a few car alarms. So much for his plan to distance himself from cars. This continued throughout the second hour as well, until Charles heard something that horrified him. At exactly 3 hours and 24 minutes in, the recording played the sound of his bedroom door opening. Ooh, that turned around so quick. Oh, that's good. PMR Calabi, I'm guessing, wrote it. My God, that's actually really good. I like that. Um, hmm, that's that's how you do it. Like that's what I'm talking about. You want to really instill fear real quick, make everything that's mundane, and then all of a sudden, when they're going back and looking at something, that's when they find something. And like you can argue that once that you knew he was gonna find something, right? I thought it was gonna be something different, but this bedroom door opening. What the fuck? And then what if it wasn't supposed to what if his door wasn't even supposed to be closed and it opened? That and the TV channel on are really good. Yeah, the TV channel one's really interesting. Of course I like the idea of like having some lost media too. Um, because it's little things that like you might never see again that just haunt you for the rest of your life. And so like, oh, so that's what's happening now. I guess I'll just go fuck myself, you know? Oh god damn. No, these last two were pretty good. To be as short as they are and to be able to throw it in like that, yes. Oh, I'm glad we're hitting some good ones. Also, I'm glad we had a Krampus one to at least remotely relate it to Christmas. It wasn't planned, but hey, it's there now. Congratulations, it's the Nightmare Before Christmas stream, I guess. Oh no, because there's gonna be another stream that may or may not be before or after Christmas. Hmm. Oh fuck, dude. Damn. All right. No, this was a good one. La Nuit. That's a good one. Hope I didn't botch that pronunciation. Hello, that's a picture. That is a picture. Can we blow that picture up? Hold on. I want to see if I can blow that picture up. Open link. Can I see more picture, please? I don't think it wants me to do such thing. Okay, it's not coming up. It says creepy as hell.jpg. I need it closer. There we go. Oh, it's like maybe right there where it kind of makes it look like I guess it kind of looks like the face was erased. And these are just like super inserted into the face. I don't know. I don't know. Oh wait, you can't see it. There we go. Okay. Here we go. I got the picture up. So you might be able to kind of like see what I'm talking about, where it looks like these are like things that are pressed into a face that's not supposed to be there. I don't know. I just wanted to really look at that picture. No, let's not save that. That's kind of dumb and gross. Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Oh yeah. Stabby stabs. Worry not. Alright. Lachelman. Grinsman. The Lacherman, aka Grinsman, was found in Switzerland in 2009. He lay motionless on the road. A pair of doctors have taken him to the hospital to examine his face. Nobody knew what happened to his face. A night later, he disappeared from the hospital. The Lacherman is still on the road today and has already killed millions of people in Switzerland and Germany. Who will be next? Warning: the following link is not suitable for children under 15 years old and can give an epilepsy. There's a video! Page was translated from German to English by Beware Jordan. Here's the original. Okay, so it looks like it's by Beware Jordan. Should I open the link? If it's too much, I might go ahead and like blur it on YouTube. But this will be gone like 7 days. So it should be okay, right? In theory? Or should I kind of vet it a little bit? Let me get it to pull up proper. This video isn't available anymore. It's not available anymore. Damn. Okay. I was kind of curious. Okay. Well, shit. Let's do it this. The hand slap wiki. Not valid. Not a valid community anymore. Okay. So I can't use that either. Shit. Oh, I hate that. Ugh. You get links and you're like, I want to see the thing. Fuck, dude. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. We found some cool shit on some of these that are still up today. So I'm not even going to be too worried about that. Okay. Lady in Black. This is the closest likeness I could find. Okay. This is the nightmare that has plagued me for 4 years now. A few years ago, I had a dream that I was at my father's house visiting. My father, brother, and I were going outside to look at my car. We were fixing it up at the time, but something was off. I saw a figure in the dark behind some trees scuffling. I thought it was a dog at first, but it stood up, and it was much too big, about 6 to 7 feet to be too big to be a dog, about 6 to 7 feet. When I tried to get a bit closer, to get a bit when I tried to get a better look, it crouched down and ran behind the house. I tried to put it out of my mind. We walked closer to the car and I heard rustling by that tree again. I looked at my dad to see if he heard anything and it didn't look like he did, but he started to walk away with my brother. I heard the noise louder and I started to run towards my brother and father. I looked behind him to a creature that was black and bloody, wearing a long black dress with long sharp teeth and claws with white glowing eyes, screaming at me so loud my ears were hurting. I tried to grab my brother's arm, but my hand phased through him, and he and my father looked normal, as if the creature screamed into normal as the creature screamed into at me. I fell on the ground to get away, and it caught up with me, wrapping its hands around my neck, and felt the claws dig into the back of my neck. As I cried, it continued choking me and screaming for about 30 seconds. It felt like forever. Just as I felt my lungs start to fill with blood, I woke up. I couldn't move for about 10 minutes. I was frozen in fear in my bed, tears running down my face, and I tried to scream, but I couldn't. I could barely breathe. Even now, and every now and again, I see her again in my dream, watching, waiting. By a wee little tree. Interesting. There we go. There's the it was a dream one. I do remember that there was this one dream that I had where so we're in a rural area. We've got we had a bunch of land, and my dad had his tractor, and he was trying to service his tractor. If you know anything about tractors, you have to grease up the PTO and make sure that it's going to keep running. And sometimes you have to push out and put more grease in it. Well, some of the grease is red. Now, I don't know why. I think I was like 6 years old or some shit. But I think? No, hold on. I think I was actually older. I'm trying to remember if I was still where I live now. It may not have been. I may have been somewhere else at the time. But I remember having a dream where like it was in the yard, and and I just saw red stuff, the kind of bright red stuff that I don't remember seeing before. I was like, I don't know what that is, and I got a little bit on me, and I'm walking away, and then my dad's still by the tractor, and he starts yelling, and then he like phases out, like it's kind of like goes like his body kind of goes like negative as it's phasing from like the center outward, like he's disappearing, and then I'm getting pulled towards the tractor for some reason, and I'm phasing out, so I'm seeing my body go negative, not my vision, but my body go negative, like I'm phasing out, and I'm being pulled towards the tractor for some reason. And the only thing I can associate with is the red stuff, which I now know is one of the tractor greases. And I used to be terrified of that. So terrified I wouldn't even get cinnamon gum because I thought that might be it. It was kind of silly, but I have no idea why that freaked me out so much. But it did. It did. It fucking did. And I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay, sure. So, like, when it comes to finding things that were a dream like that, this gave me that kind of feeling of remembering that dream. So, there's that. Hold on. I just realized I'm probably going to keep forgetting. I should go ahead and set my blue sky up. On my CloudBot. Add timer. Blue sky. How do they look normally? Check me out on blue sky. And then I will copy to clipboard, paste, interval value in minutes, and I got 24. I'll put this at 19, actually. And then line minimum, I've been putting 2. There we go. And my Facebook, I deleted the one page on Facebook. Now I wanted to remake one, so that one is not in effect. Everything else should be valid. Alright, so that should take effect. Cool, cool, cool. I've been putting that off for a while, and I didn't need to. So, there's that. Alright, because I got Twitter right there. So I don't need it on the front page. Oh, fuck. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, God. Alright. Cool. Cool. Hopefully that works out. Shit. Okay, that started with me. Anyway. Excuse me. Lady in the Bush. In St. Amant, kids show to stay in after dark. In St. Amant, kids know to stay. Let me smash in the chat. I threw it in, and now it's a thing. I'm trying to force it to be a thing because I think it's funny. It makes me laugh. It entertains me. I'm sorry. I'll start over. Lady in the Bush. In St. Amant, kids know to stay in after dark, unless it's Halloween, and their kids are with their parents. Kids are forced to stay inside because of the Lady in the Bush, who can appear from any bush she desires. Her name was Lena Lefune, and she was a kind woman. But one night, she was walking home and had to pass by a group of kids. The kids were all playing tag, and one of them had accidentally knocked over Lena, causing her to crack her head open on a rock. The kids left her behind in the bush she had landed in, and ran away in fear. With her last breath, she had sworn to avenge herself by killing children who walked by any bush after nightfall. Be careful. She will kill any child who is out after dark, even those just visiting family. By Sims Girl Gem. That's kind of neat. I could see, excuse me. I could see that becoming a local legend. It's like, oh, it seems like a fairy tale, but every once in a while a kid dies after nightfall or whatever, and we can't figure out why, but it's always by a bush or something. I could see that. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Lake Vostok. In 1963, the U.S. government established a research base on Lake Vostok in Antarctica. A team of engineers and what? Okay, I guess I'll never know the next part of that. I don't know what happened. In 1966, the team began drilling, and by April of 1966, they reported breaking through the ice. The base fell silent. A research operation went underway, but just before its launch in late May 1966, the base sent out one last transmission. The contents of the tape were mostly purged after its reception, but the surviving audio gives a clear warning. Stay away from Lake Vostok. Whatever the contents of the rest of the tape, the US government did something which it had never done before, and which it hasn't done since. It listened. by Cheese Lord. Yeah, that would be crazy if like a whole government in and of itself listened to like a single solitary thing collectively. Holy shit, that would be crazy. That'd be insane. All right. The Lake 2 by Edgar Allan Poe. In spring of youth it was my lot to haunt of the wide world's a spot, the wit though which I could not love the less, so lonely was the loneliness of a wild lake with black rock bound, and the tall pines that towered around. But then a night had thrown her pall. But then night had thrown her pall upon that spot as upon all, and the mystic wind went by, murmuring in melody. Then, ah, then I would awake to the terror of the lone lake. Yet that terror was not fright, but a tremendous delight, a feeling not the jeweled mine could teach or bribe me to define, nor love, although the love were thine. Death was in that poisonous wave, and in its gulf a fitting grave for him who thence could solace bring to his lone imagining, whose solitary soul could make an Eden of that dim lake. Poe's always interesting. My wife's probably read most of them because I got her the compilation of the Poe stories and stuff. I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot I don't get. Like the language kind of screws it up that I'm really not getting the message. Maybe I'm just a simple, timid little man. Maybe I'm a Moran. But like I don't know, some of it's just not as good. Like you have like your the three main ones, like the Raven, the Pit and the Pendulum, and like one other that I don't remember. All right, we're in the L's, by the way. Hint of the Lost Pups. Okay. All right. Lament for a Lost Pup. One day I found a lost pup in the street, its fur muddy brown spotted with black. A very little dog, possibly a terrier cross. I picked it up at once and took it home. My brother wanted it for a snack, but we fought. When my mother took my mongrel away, and I never saw my little bundle of fur again. Sock Monsters by M. Pratt 99. M. Pratt 99, Deviant Art. Okay, so they're monsters. So what the... What? Spotted with black. A very little dog. Pup. Lament for a lost pup. Lament for a... Lament for a lost pup. Of fur again. Never saw my little bundle of fur again. Lament for a lost pup. Alright. One day I found a lost pup in the street, its fur muddy brown spotted with black. A very little dog, possibly a terrier cross. I picked it up at once and took it home. Sound quality's okay, I guess. I want to make it better. Okay, that works. So yeah, so that's the thing is they're apparently monsters. Oh, hello. Alright, I'll probably do this one and then I'll probably take a break. Maybe make myself some coffee or some tea. Hot tea. Last battle. I stand, facing the man across me, looking him in the eyes, those deep, unmerciful eyes. The man who owns them, the man in a trench coat and shades, the man who stares at me, the man who looks formidable, a man who killed everyone I love, family, friends, pets, all gone. I stare at him, so many feelings pumping through me, hate, sadness, determination, many others I can't give a name to. And now I'm here, looking at him, not even rushing towards him to gut him yet. I steel myself. I have to do this. So I run, holding the knife firmly. He runs too, towards me, wielding a knife too. We clash, knives scraping across each other. We look at each other, analyzing, thinking, all while the battle goes on. I finally manage to wound him, one slash across the back. But he has wounded me half a dozen times. He's much better than me. And suddenly, I'm afraid I won't be able to do this. But I have to. For my parents, my family, my friends, I have to. Tears bind me, and that's where everything goes wrong. The man turns and stabs me right in the stomach. He pulls it out and walks away. As for me, my stomach is bleeding rapidly, along with the half a dozen wounds. My mind goes foggy. I collapse into the cold, hard floor. I think, well, at least I got a chance to know who killed everyone. And soon I'll be with them. My last thought. This actually is worth it. Dying isn't so bad anyway. And I black out. Okay, so this, I'm kind of confused. At first, I thought this was, he was fighting a mirror, I thought. And, like, the whole thing was, like, he was fighting himself. That's what I thought. When he said he runs towards me, wielding a knife too. Knives scraping across each other. But this feels like another one that there's something else to it that I don't know about. Like, is there a part of this that has something to do with another movie type situation? I don't know what this is right here, because, like, now he's getting content with it, and it just... I don't know. Because I thought it was going to be like, oh, the man who killed my family, friends, pets, and whatever. It was me. That's what I thought it was going to be. But it seems to make it really different. Alright. I mean, let's go ahead. I'll just go ahead and keep it there, so that way I know I'm not going to fuck it up. But, I'm going to take a break. Oh, I forgot to put the music back on. Oh, it needs to be off. Anyway, I'm going to take a break. I'll probably get some tea. Throat's feeling a little... So feel free to get up, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, get something to drink, pet a cat, pet a dog, do what it is you normally do when you're taking a break. I'll be gone for about 10 to 20 minutes. This is the intermission. Alright, and I'm back. Excuse me. There's a sore on the roof of my mouth, and it doesn't feel good. Oh. Tea must help. Okay. Now, where are we? The last disc. Alright. Last disc. Porygon is the story of an android. It started out as a cute and clunky open beta type program, then moved onto a much smoother and self-thinking artificial Pokemon. A nice, well-working upgrade to the Pokemon some people loved. It could think for itself while still staying a cute pet. But something happened with the third. And what was to be the final upgrade? Maybe it became too self-aware. Maybe someone put an unseen virus on it. But something happened to make the disc very unsafe. The disc feels your Pokemon with lines of code that turn your faithful friend into a ranting maniac. Someone was smart enough to discard it before getting it near their beloved friend. Though they thought they hid it, but you find it, and you use it. You may not even realize your mistake, but still loyal to you after all. But it's still loyal to you after all. Other Pokemon notice, though, but try to shrug it off. Maybe they shouldn't, though. You never know when it might get tired of listening. And please, don't try to release it. Without you holding it back, who knows what could happen. Oh. You know what? I don't understand enough about Porygon evolution. Let me look that up real quick. That's interesting. Porygon evolution. How does Porygon evolve? Porygon will evolve in Porygon 2 if you give it an upgrade to hold, then trade it with someone else. You'll need to have Porygon 2 hold a dubious disc, and then trade it again. Oh, that's what it is. Oh. That's weird and kind of fucked up. A dubious disc. I didn't know that. That makes sense for what's going on. You don't know what's on it, but... Ooh. What's Porygon Z? Okay, so that's what it looks like. Gotcha. I've got it up on a different screen. What's the Pokédex entries? Additional software was installed to make it better. It began acting oddly, however. Its programming was modified to enable work on alien dimensions. It did not work as planned? Its programming was modified to enable it to travel through alien dimensions. Seems there might have been an error. So Porygon Z is a corruption. Oh my god, black and white too. Its programming was modified to enable work on alien dimensions. It did not work as planned. Additional software was installed to make it a better Pokemon. It began acting oddly, however. It seems to be an error. In order to create a more advanced Pokemon, an additional program was installed, but apparently it contained a defect that makes it move oddly. Its program was modified to facilitate extra-dimensional activities, but that led to a noticeably strange behavior. Its behavior is noticeably unstable, which is apparently due to the incompetence of the engineer who updated its programming. Okay, that one's actually blaming someone. A faulty update was added to its programming. Its behavior is noticeably strange, so the experiment may have been a failure. Porygon Z had a program installed to allow it to move between dimensions, but the program also caused instability in Porygon Z's behavior. Some say an additional program made this Pokemon evolve, but even academics can't agree on whether Porygon Z is really an evolution. Additional software been acting oddly, however. A curious item introduced this evolution. The Pokemon's offensive capabilities have greatly increased, but the strangeness of its behavior has magnified in equal measure. This worries me. Wow, okay. So Porygon goes to Porygon 2 by holding upgrade, and then by holding Dubious Disc during a trade, you get Porygon Z. What's the Dubious Disc? Transparent disc overflowing with dubious data, dubious data, dubious data. It's all the same. Wait, except this one. It's loved by a certain Pokemon. Okay, it's otherwise it's word for word the same in all of them. Wow, okay. Things I did not know. That makes this creepypasta work much better. Oh my god. That turned this creepypasta around, baby. Cool. That's cool. All right. Last night. Last Friday night. Last light. The candle flickers. I clasp my hands over my mouth, and as not to blow out the flame by mistake. Slowly but surely, the light dies. It'll be over soon. My mind tells me, knowing it only holds on for the pure sake of survival instincts. Yet the hope that lays in the small, ridiculous, fragile frame is there. No, that's not true. It's fake. Tears sting in my eyes and run over my face. All I do is watch the tiny speck of light growing smaller and smaller, holding back the desperate wail that threatens to escape my lips. Instead, I sob loudly. It's fake. The light goes out and I'm left alone with my agonizing cries. Nothing can be fake now. I feel it with my whole entity. Oh. This kind of feels like it's simpler than it's implied. It just says it's a flame. It doesn't say what the flame is of, though. It doesn't say like a candle. It just... Maybe a match? I would argue it sounds like a match. Oh, no, it says the candle flickers. Never mind. By Retardo the Magnificent. Oh... argument for... This is a fill in the blank pasta. I don't know what it means by saying the fragile flame is there. No, it's not true. It's fake. And then nothing can be fake now when the light goes out. I don't know what that means. Like a big denial thing, maybe? I'm not sure. Ooh, this one looks interesting. Last man alive. One by one, the women file in, wearing their tantalizing diaphanous gowns. They hold all types of food, which is culturally diverse as they are. Some type of Asian woman sits on my left, while a large black girl begins rubbing my shoulders. They tell me to eat, to be healthy, to be happy, and I try, at least. I remember it became easier at first, and how I used to fill my stomach with fruit and bread and meat, and then fill my arms with each one of them. I can't remember the last time I saw another man. Day after day, it's just these women, each one more beautiful and kind than the last. What's worse is how happy they all seem. They all smile at me, while they lay me down and take from me what they want. At one time, I was more than glad to oblige them, imagining myself to be the luckiest man in the world, but eventually I had to realize that I was the only man in the world. What's that about? I'm sure there are others somewhere, but I'm never allowed to see them. In fact, I'm barely even allowed to see the sky outside. It's a different world out there now. There are fewer buildings and more flowers. Every tree seems to be overflowing with fruit. Nothing like what you would have seen before, and of course, there are the women walking around, smiling nonstop at one another. A lot of them speak English, I think. I don't exactly talk to them much, because the words uttered while rolling around in bed are few and short. I try to strike up a conversation, and they just smile like sharks. I've gotten more women pregnant than I can count. I never had kids back in my old life, and now I've probably got tons. Hundreds of girls, I'm sure. I don't want to think about what they're doing to all the boys. Maybe one of them will get lucky and take over my place once I'm too old for this, knowing each one of his sisters briefly and intimately, one by one. Even if I'll never know him, I feel sorry for my only son. This isn't what I'd want for anyone. I'm not sure how much longer I can do this before going insane. I'd kill just to see a football game, or to talk about old-fashioned guy stuff again. I don't remember the last time I heard a car or drank a beer. They probably don't even exist anymore. The world belongs to the women. I'm the last man alive, and I'm only for breeding purposes. I'm not sure which direction I want to go. Alright. That would definitely be hell for me. In regards to, like, I don't. I'm sorry, but pounding it out day after day, I just don't see myself doing that like that. Especially if I can't really do anything else. Um, and we've heard of this type of world before. I mean, the kind of reminiscent of the Gerudo, except it's not quite as forced. But it is, kind of one night standish. Um, the other part is it makes it sound very cult like to a point, and I'm not sure how to feel about that. And I imagine it'd be implied that guys being sparse. I would assume that it's not so much that they'd be killed all the time, but that when you get a guy, one, it would likely be sparse, and that's the way that the women's body are at this point is kind of like Ganon, where every 1,000 years they have a boy. So something like that, where it's like boys are like, I don't know, maybe you have a 1 out of 20 chance to get a boy most of the time. That boy would eventually be raised and by himself effectively, and then given to another town or tribe, so that way it's not a there's not genetic issues. One would assume. Uh, that being said, I do like the idea of like you finally have something that so many people want. Turns out it's not exactly what you want. It really isn't. It's not what you think it is when you initially think about it. You know, it's like, oh, I thought I really, really wanted this. Turns out, after like 3 days of it or something, it's like it's not what I wanted. And he says it's been so long since he's done all those things, and like for me, I don't wouldn't have as much of those issues. I don't think. I would see if I could argue for some forms of different entertainment when not being used as you know the primary Cloud Meadow character, whomever they may be. I don't know who the most popular one is. But I mean, when they're all going Cloud Meadow on your ass and you're just like, I just want to play, I don't know, a video game or some shit. I feel like it'd be likely that you'd be indulged in that at least. So I don't know. So I'm really not sure what other direction to take this because then it starts getting into some very yikesy territory. Uh, in part fetishy and in part deranged too. And then you get to the whole like construction of how the world would work. I don't know. Anyway, you hung up. Was there a credit to that? Nah. At least I don't have the credit. Oh look, it's Cthulhu. Last night. Last night, the Cthulhu cultists were meeting very close to where I live. The previous night, I had a lucid dream in which I saw Dr. Grobman, Dirk Grobman. He was stalking me and my mentor. Last night, he, Cthulhu, and Slenderman were attempting to meet up. They had a mission. What? Oh, we weren't sure. My mentor and I, were going to attempt to find out until I split due to all the energy and the possible possessions that could occur. Possessions that could occur. My one friend ended up possessed, and the scarier part is we can't figure out by whom or what he was taken over by. The demon is out of him now, but he was not himself last night. His eyes became pitch black. There's a bad bean over there. Calypso! That's a bad bean! Don't worry, Liza, the kitty tree's still here. If you need comfort. Where was I? His eyes became pitch black, minus the whites of his eyes, and we couldn't get him back to this world, and we had to go into the 8th dimension in order to pull him out. When I went in, Zircon attacked me, as he, for some reason, is obsessed with me and always looking for me when I project astrally. I hate the fact that I split last night because if I hadn't, maybe we would have found out more. But for now, we have to go back. We have to go with what we have and maybe venture into the woods tonight to find out what is going on or what is being planned. Zozo had gone into hiding, and as he is very weak, and Naio is weakened as well, and they are now as well where they are now, and I am not certain, but it worries me that they are Elizabeth Moore's parents, my astral spirit. Hopefully, we won't have to fight that much off, and hopefully the battle is not too draining. We will see what tonight has the rest. We'll see. We will see what tonight and the rest of the week bring. By Mama the Emo? I guess. I don't know. Okay, I'm just incredibly confused. I feel like maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff. I've heard Zarkon, but I don't think it's what I've heard it from. All right. Zircon. Zircon? Zarkon. Mineral and gemstone. What about a character? Uh, Character? Zarkon is a homeworld gem who served as Steven's attorney during his trial. Okay, so that doesn't help me. I, I, I wait, what if I say Zarkon from the 8th dimension? The 8th dimension. What? What? Hold on. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension. Polymath, Dr. Bruce. What the fuck? Is there a character named Zarkon, or is that just a Men in Black thing? I think that's where I remember hearing it from. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing a Zarkon. Nope, no Zarkon. But, like, holy shit, dude. Otherwise, Zarkon's just a gem. Okay, so what's the deal? I have no idea what's going on with this. There's a whole bunch of shit that was thrown at me. I don't know who the fuck Zozo or Elizabeth Moore parents and why that's his astral spirit somehow. Both, I don't know. Astral Moore's parents are both his astral spirit, and that this Zarkon character is after him when he projects astrally in the 8th dimension. And Cthulhu cultists that had nothing to do with the rest of the thing, all of a sudden, just that they're there. This was all over the place. I have no idea what the hell's going on, what this battle is. Maybe it's because I haven't read Call of Cthulhu or played the game. I've fucking hands down, I don't know. I really don't know what this one is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is, Momo the Emo. Momo the Emo or whatever. I really don't. Last one today. In Berlin, after World War II, money was short, supplies were tight, and it seems like everyone was hungry. At that time, people were telling the tale of a young woman who saw a blind man picking his way through a crowd. The two started to talk. The man asked her for a favor. Could she deliver the letter to the address on the envelope? Well, it was on her way home, so she agreed. She started out to deliver the message, when she turned around to see if there was anything else the blind man needed, but she spotted him hurrying through the crowd without his smoked glasses or white cane. She was naturally suspicious, so she went to the police. When the police paid a visit to the address on the envelope, they made a gruesome discovery. 3 butchers had been harvesting human flesh and selling it to the starving people. And what was in the envelope the man gave to the woman? A note, saying simply, "This is the last one I am sending you today." Oh, shit! By Rotaro the Magnificent. Oh my god. The chance of that also being plausible, too. I bet that man wasn't actually even blind. That would be fucking clever, for what that's worth. Oh, man. That was awesome. Fucking. Oh, that was gnarly, dude. That was fucking gnarly. Like, I don't know, man. I have a hard time with that. You're scared. You're in scarce conditions. That one works really well. Brother the Magnificent is one of those. I'm assuming he's one of the writers if he's the one inserting the images, since I didn't copy and paste them right, most of them. But like, this is one that definitely works really well. You could see this being something that might happen because let's face it, disparity doesn't look good on anyone. It sucks to be desperate for something. It really does. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I didn't realize I actually skipped over in my mind that the title of it was Last One Today. Can't believe I mentally skipped over that one. Jesus. All right. Late morning paranoia. Every morning at exactly 3:30, I wake up. I have the feeling as if someone is staring at me through the window. This is unsettling to me. I turn I turn my nightlight on to regain sanity for a couple of minutes so that I may return to my dream state. Then I hear the door open and close loudly. The sound of footsteps down the hall of my room disturbed me greatly. I put my pillow on top of my head, as if trying to protect myself from this threat. I hear a loud pound on my door. This pounding continues for about 3 minutes. Then it stops. I open my door to find it is now sunny outside, as if the 3 minutes were hours. I walk I walk to my bathroom, and the shower is closed. I never leave the shower curtain closed because I'm easily scared. I open it to find out what's inside before I get dressed for school. When I look the curtain I see when I look the curtain I see blood. Well, lift should be lift. It was not just a tiny drop, it was more like of a copious amount of blood. My curiosity gets the best of me, and I pull the curtain open quickly. Then I see something that sticks with me to this day. I see my dead body. Then I wake up. By Quentin. This is my first creepypasta. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, please feel free to send me a message telling me what to do to improve myself further. Thanks. This has potential. All right? This is good enough that there is places to go. But the first thing is I don't think there's enough. I think you need more in between before you get to a point where there's copious amounts of blood. That being said, the reveal that it's your own body is interesting, and then that you wake up, that it was a dream, and that makes it bizarre, and it haunts you all the time. And I assume you're not well rested, so it just plays in more and more as you keep going on. So it's an ever going thing going between this dream and real world, and then eventually, those could eventually merge one day where you can no longer tell the difference. That's probably the direction I would take this if you were to rewrite it better. Because this definitely, because your writing is fine. Like, there's no issue. Like, the grammar's good, your sentence structure is fine. Because that's always a plus when you know how to structure sentences and you don't have 1,000 run-on sentences and a bunch of weird stuff going on that doesn't necessarily go together. But that's what I would recommend. This isn't good, I would say, but it's not bad by any means. Like, there's something here, and it needs just to cook more, if you will. I think if you manage to listen to this, Quentin, you have this is a really good potential. I know it's 11 years later since I copied this to my drive, but I would definitely recommend, like, if you wanted to rewrite this, give it more middle and try to see if you can make it make more sense by the time you get to the copious amounts of blood thing, and then use the dream side of it to start merging together with the real life to where the character can no longer tell the difference. And it just gets to a point where it just feels like he's just doing nothing but constantly waking up. Doesn't even remember actually trying to go to bed. That's what I would probably recommend. Something like that, or if you think of something a little better than that, by all means. But there is something good here. But it's just that in and of itself isn't quite there. But keep going, brother. Late night crash. One afternoon, a couple was traveling on by car when, at a far distance, they saw a woman in the middle of the road, waving frantically. The wife told her husband to keep on driving because it might be too dangerous, but the husband decided to pass by slowly so he wouldn't stay with the doubt on his mind of what might have happened if the chances of anyone being hurt. As they got closer, they noticed a woman with cuts and bruises on her face as well as on her arms. Then they decided to stop and see if she could be of any help, if they could be of any help. They cut The cut and bruised woman was begging for help, telling them that she had been in a car accident, that her husband and son and newborn baby were all still inside the car, which was in a deep ditch. She told them that the husband was already dead, but that her baby seemed to still be alive. The husband that was traveling decided to get down and tried to rescue the baby, and he asked the hurt woman to stay with his wife inside the car. When he got down, he noticed two people in front seats of the car, but he didn't pay attention to it, and took out the baby quickly and got up to take the baby to its mother. When he got up, he didn't see the mother anywhere, and asked of his wife where she had gone. She told him that the woman followed him back to the crashed car. When the husband went back to look for her, he noticed that clearly the couple in the front seats were dead, one of whom was unmistakably the woman who had flagged them down. By Ben's Girl 97. Yes, that's how you do it. That's because that's something that is a type of story that we can hear and could be something that you could see being potentially plausible. It's that kind of thing that's like a spirit who, when they die, is strong enough to do something to save another. That makes it really cool too. I love that kind of story. It's so bittersweet that she says, "All right, stay with my wife in the car. I'll do this," and then she says, "Oh, I'm gonna go follow him" or something like that. Yeah, man, that's friggin' sweet. I like that. I like that one. It's so bittersweet. Oh, oh, oh! It's gonna give me diabetes. All right, next. Doing good. Laughing and crying. One very beautiful evening, a man met a beautiful girl. The next day they met again, and again on the next day, and the next day for nearly a month, before they talked about being more than friends, and similar things. They eventually had children, but their parents would not approve of the other's family, and even cursed the spouse of their children. One evening their parents were found dead with their hands skinned, but they had each other's fingerprints on the corpses. Each body was found 10 miles apart. This made the couple sad, but they had a child to raise, so they went on with their lives. With a few Fuck, I was gonna spend with a few self-ending attempts here and there. When their child was about to turn 4, the mother committed, traumatizing the poor little boy. The boy seemed to be happy on the day of his mother's self-ending. The father soon found it a bit disturbing that his son laughed every time the anniversary came, then cried the moment the day was over. After 3 years of this strange behavior, he got tired and decided to beat him. the fuck, dude? He stopped laughing and would just cry and cry for the day. On his 11th birthday, he ran away from home. His dad was searching for him and never returned. That was a year ago, and I still haven't heard of him since. The house he lived in was rotted on Cook Road in the town of Cedro Woolley for years now. He's probably dead. We have Cedro Woolley. Okay, we have a town name. We can work with that. Alright, I need to type that in. That's sad and fucked up. Alright. Cedro Woolley. Cedro Woolley. Alright. House on Cook Road. Okay, I'm not finding anything. Alright. On his 11th birthday. Year. "11-year-old boy." Okay, there we go. Couple accused of using son to deliver drugs to customers. What the fuck? Couple's child may have been a drug courier. 4-year-old boy found fatally shot. God damn. That was 6 days ago! Jesus Christ. 11-year-old boy ran away? This might be a true thing. It said it was a year ago. That was a year ago. You know what? 2012. Boy ran away. Teen drag, no. Teens, no. Dude, this is kind of fucked up. God, like immediately, like is Central Woolley like fucking? um, 11-year-old boy. On Cook Road. And Cedro Woolley is a city in Scott County, Washington, United States. So it's way up there. It's not what I'm trying to find. I can't find anything specific, so... Yeah, I don't know. Oh well. But you got a Cedro Woolley for you. Yeah, so there's an abandoned house on there for years now. I don't know if it's been repurposed by this point, but I think this is probably a story based. This is probably based on something that actually happened. Kind of like that other one where the guy ran through the thing, where the whole thing was like he fucked up this ritual for basically being immortal. This kind of feels like this. Wow. Just, whenever you get an actual an actual place, a town, that just changes the whole fucking thing. It really does. Alright. Oh god, Legend of Zelda. Excuse me. Get another sip. Laughter. December 9th, 1998. Begin transmission. Hello. I'm Ulysses Harbor. I teach psychology at the University of Utah. I'm not much for words, but I'll try to explain these happenings the best I can. Here I go. As of late, I haven't been. No, scratch that. As of late, my mind hasn't left. Right. I feel strange all the time. I come down with the chills and goose pimples raise on my arms whenever I leave a room. I can't sleep. Where do I get sleep? It comes in fits. I have the most terrible dreams. They're just smatterings of blood and laughter. Wretched laughter. It laughs at me, even in my waking hours, and follows me like fleas. The laughter is forces, almost as though some madman has to laugh. I'm feeling rather peckish. I must go now. End transmission. December 13th, 1998. 4 days. Begin transmission. It's been 3 days and 21 hours since my last recording. In that amount of time, I've nearly died by my own hand twice. I just can't take it anymore. When I blink, behind my eyelids lay terror, the shrieking, horrid faces of laughing beings. They don't look human, they look lifeless, as though a dead man is smiling at me. The laughter has gotten worse as well. It now drowns out almost all coherent thoughts. I fear these may be my last days, friends. End transmission. December 14th, 1998. Next day. Begin transmission. A moment of silence passes before quiet sobs begin. A moment of silence passes before quiet sobs begin. Good Lord, I have to end this now. More silence passes, followed by rustling around in a far-off place as though the professor is looking for something. Goodbye, laughter. One more sob is heard, followed by a sharp jamming sound and a large thud to the floor. After a moment more of silence, the tape recorder automatically stopped recording. End transmission. The preceding tapes were found in a small rural home of Professor Ulysses Hudson by the acquisitive co-worker at the university 3 weeks after the final recording, along with the tape recorder. A rather bloodied-up Professor Hudson was found in his bathtub, a screwdriver shoved in his right ear. His distraught co-worker said, in regards to the young man's death, he seemed to be a happy guy. I just didn't expect him to do anything like that. He was so normal. But then again, so was the professor last year. He was always laughing. What the fuck? Is Ulysses Hudson a person? Ulysses Hudson. Not anyone that was made. Okay, it looks like that was a made up name at that point. Okay, so at that point, it looks like it was made up because I'm not finding anything. Because, like, I have a time frame for when these things came about, so. And. Alright. Ooh, Shinigami Ice. It's always a good sign. Okay. Laundry. You may have noticed in my previous entries, provided you've read them, I've seen some weird stuff. I'm pretty sure I've seen some ghosts, Blame this on me being totally batshit insane, or take it for what I think it is. Encounters. But just recently, I was carrying a rather heavy load of laundry downstairs to the basement. It's not the spooky part, despite how much I hate doing housework. I felt like someone was watching me, so I did my usual reaction. Most would either childishly run, but my curiosity gets the best of me quite often. Much like a frightened rabbit, I paused and stood still as a statue. My eyes shifted to the direction of the stair I could have sworn I felt. To my surprise, I saw a flash of a floral printed dress. A friend mentioned seeing a woman in a floral dress on my porch a few months ago, and personally, I knew the boy wasn't nuts. That easily could have been in my head, but I know what wasn't. The dial on the washing machine turned with its typical clicking sound. I could even see it turning. And the only explanation I had for it was that the spirit was turning it. I remembered that I was on a schedule, so I decided to be brave, a brave little runt, and stumble my happy ass over to the washing machine. Funny, that was on the setting I needed for that. Smiled a little. I loaded up the machine and let it do its work. Whenever I go down to the basement, sometimes I still see a flash of that pattern disappear behind a pile of our packed boxes, and I smell a heavy perfume. Something like passion or a red door, but anyway, I don't feel too threatened. I just get a weird heart jump feeling whenever she startles me. Written by Shinigami Eyes. That one is sweet, almost, because it almost feels like a situation where a mother's passed away, and the mother's coming to try and take care of her child. That's kind of what this feels like. Which is just adorable. Like, you want to see it, right? That's just so cute. Shinigami Eyes just made tons of, like, really good ones, too. And, like with this one just feels sweet. It's like, you don't know what it is for real, but it doesn't seem to be malicious. Makes it kind of sweet. Lava floor. Hello, everyone. My name is George, and I'm being followed. Today, while I was browsing through the unpopular parts of YouTube, I got an inbox from username 7 Deadly Urns. And they said, "We are watching you." Attached was a video named Irvine. I thought it was very odd. I guess it was wrong to assume that I'm being followed so quickly, but they sent me another video entitled Run, and the video is of them in a neighborhood. They run up a driveway to a window, then they go around and get to the house's backyard through the side door. You can hear a dog barking when they are filming and a small walkway with a poinsettia. The fuck's a poinsettia? And then a dog comes in through running towards the camera person. I recognize the house, the neighborhood, and the dog. That was my house, my neighborhood, my dog. If you look closely at the door, you can make out a person. Person turns out to be my Aunt Beatrice. What? Oh. Hello, buddy. I just got off of a ranked cup build batch. Earned enough to get the umbrella. Started getting my ace handed to me after 6 p.m. Oh, congratulations, got the umbrella. Let's face it, after streaming for a while, eventually it starts to wear on you, so it's all good. I don't know what this pasta's about. Why does it say lava floor? Why is that the name of it? What does Irvine have to do with it? Why is it called Irvine? Is there something I don't understand? It does, bud. It really does. And what the fuck's a poinsettia? Is that the thing that it's like? Poinsettia. We'll walk away with poinsettia. Oh, it's a flower. It's a flower. Okay. And they're mildly toxic to dogs. Huh. Okay. I'm just confused on what the fuck any of this is supposed to do. This is not a good way to do a creepypasta. I just need to get the fuck out of that. Oh, how you doing? I hope your stream was good. I'm doing this number. Uh, the next. So I got down to basically two things left on the list of to stream for Hold on. I basically got down to the last two things on this. So this was the last thing. And I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and run it through. So now the only last thing is going to be the SNGA episode 12, which I'll try and do next week. And I'm trying to decide on what days to do those. I might try and do more than one. I'm not sure. But there's also New Year's, and I figured on the New Year's one, that's when I could start going over all my like analytics and stuff, and then whatever. It's just kind of convenient that the list is ending basically right at the next year, so I was like, all right, let me just go ahead and set this up in an easier way to do it, and think the SNG like around Christmas, around one of the Christmas days, since I'm off Monday to Thursday. I thought that made sense. So hopefully it does well. Back to that one. Okay. Lavender Bass. To start things off, I was always fond of Lavender Town's music. It definitely had a past, and I never wanted to scratch my eyes out from it definitely had a past, and I never wanted to scratch my eyes out from the side of it. When I was 3, when my parents bought me Pokemon Yellow, I played Blue and when I was 3, my parents bought me Pokemon Yellow. I played Blue and Red versions, and I can't remember where I'd get to. I just can't remember where I'd get to. When 2004 rolled around, my friend James got Leaf Green, and we both loved the Kanto region because it was the original, the best on our 8-year-old minds. The best in our 8-year-old minds, and we were both excited to see how it was. I wanted the opposite game, Fire Red, because Charizard always won in my mind as the coolest Pokemon. But I had already had Ruby, so it had to do for now. The next year, I had moved, but James had let me keep it. I had completely forgot about it. I had played his continued file, Kenny, in my Game Boy Advance SP. He had gotten all the original 150, excluding the Charmander family and the Bulbasaur family. He is saved at Lavender Town. Now, I'm sure you're going to expect some ghosts to attack Kenny. This is when I noticed the creepy music to be intriguing. Now, it being 2011, I had recently been reunited with that Leaf Green, and I had lent it to another friend, Craig, to amp it up with either Game Shark or Action Replay codes. At one point, I had noticed he put up a level 60 Meganium, but all the cool monsters were gone. As I was a bit disappointed, he too had saved at Lavender Town. I ignored the coincidence. I put it in my DS Lite's dual slot and plugged the DS into my bass guitar amplifier to get better sound quality. Not gonna lie, I probably would have done that too. I mean, I've hooked games up to my amplifier before. I mean, it makes a good speaker. If you do it for mostly a bass, it'll basically be a subwoofer. All right. I wanted to play the theme song to Lavender Town and Pokemon Tower. I had my DS's volume on super low, and if it had been at the halfway volume, it would have blown out the speaker. I heard new beats that I'd never heard emit from the game. Occasional buzzing, a lot of static, and even got louder at times. To check if it was the game or the DS, I went to the silent bridge. And no static, only pure sound. Something wasn't right. I went back to Lavender Town thinking the quality of the game wasn't up to standards. After I checked the sound, I hadn't noticed my DS for about 20 minutes, because I was trying to learn the melody. At the climax of the tune, the static intensified, like an out of area radio signal. Then the music did a crescendo abruptly, making the amp buzz horribly with it. It drowned out anything and anyone. As I ran over to turn it off, right before I was about to, I heard a loud pop. The amplifier was still on, but no sound emitted. The stupid music mocked me. As it still hummed through the air, I learned the song, but at what cost? Huh. So Lavender Town song is not hard to play. It's like four instruments mostly, and they harmonize. So, because I've played it on my guitar before, and you can play most of the song on guitar as well. But I think it sounds better when you actually like put like a couple layers on it. Lavender Town Beta Syndrome. After doing research on multiple creepypastas, I learned of something called Lavender Town Syndrome, which is the effects caused by the binaural beats in Lavender Town from the 1969 Pocket Monsters Green release in Japan. 100 plus children the ages of 7 to 12 died from self-ending, suffocation, or unchecked convulsions. Most of those children were a part of the test of the game where children in Okara area, the ages 7 to 12 were given the game to play to their heart's content. They reported tremors, itchiness, headaches, stomach aches, etc. It was fixed before the final copy was released, of course. Of course, out of curiosity, I wanted to see it for myself what this music was, so I searched Pocket Monsters Green Lavender Town Beta on YouTube. I clicked on the first video and ignored the annotation that told me not to use headphones and continued anyways. It starts out with a high-pitched tone, which gradually increases and gets louder as it cuts to the Lavender Town music you would hear today. Throughout the song, there are strange low-frequency noises probably meant to represent a gong. In two instances, a single note would play so loud it was almost unbearable. The side effects are one thing about Lavender Town Syndrome that I know is real. Shortly after, I felt sick with headache and stomach aches. When I was hearing things I wasn't hearing, like my phone shutting off, even though I have the on-off tones disabled. The microwave dinging or the sink running, and I couldn't remember what color my toothbrush was, and I had to have my sister remind me. The next morning, I still had a stomach ache, but the headache and the other problems were gone. I do not recommend listening to this with headphones. If you are under the age of 13, or if you have sensitive hearing, it is said to be that adults is. It is also said that to adults, these strange noises go completely unnoticed. Do you guys have a curiosity? Because I could say she ate a curiosity. Alright. Because I want to say that my wife and I listened to this before when we were younger. Theme reel. So I want to think the only thing that really happened, I don't think anyone actually ended themselves. I want to think that it was just a situation where people got headaches. And like part of the issue is people have fuck, what was it called? So that tone, as a rising tone, is something that makes people very unsettled. You know, and like if you want me to just stop there as far as playing it, I can stop there. Maybe it makes you uncomfortable, but like yeah, so it's doing that same thing, crescendoing again. So I guess it does that a few times, and then it gets into what we know is the main theme, and then not the original, like no, not Syndrome, just we'll probably get Miyu's version before long. But in any case, like no do 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 na 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 na. Yeah, that theme, for one thing, it's iconic as fuck. I probably recognize it across 1,000 other musicians. So like, not like you'll go without figuring it out. But I think the only thing that actually happened was that it made people feel unsettled, which seems like it would be the point, but it was a little too much. So I don't think you want to unsettle them that much. You start doing that little rise like that, a consistent rise, it's it could be unsettling because it feels like it's a never-ending cycle. It's kind of like, oh, you okay, Bean? It's kind of like you get people that like you write down silence, right? On like me on a music on sheet music, but you make it go faster and faster, and people are unsettled by being able to see that and like uh get that in mind. Lavender Town, a true story. They say that creepypastas are all fake. That's what I thought, until something happened to my cousin. This is a true story. Even if you don't believe me, I don't care. It was about midnight, and my cousin and I were just about to go to sleep when he decided to show me a song. It was Lavender Town's song from Pokemon, but it was different. The pitch went down slowly. I asked him what it was, and he told me it's Lavender Town's song. No, it's not, I told him. The pitch doesn't go down like that. He gave me a strange expression. The pitch isn't going down, he told me. I tried to go to sleep that night, but it couldn't be done. You still up? I asked my cousin. Silence. Wake up, I whispered. Nothing. I stood up and pushed him out of bed. Pillows fell on the floor from his covers. He must have went somewhere. Hey, Isaac! I screamed. I was puzzled. Usually everyone would have yelled for me to be quiet. I walked down the stairs and began to hear the Lavender Town music. I walked into the kitchen. My cousin laid on the kitchen floor. Isaac! I yelled. You okay, Link? Being a nut? I yelled while running to him. He was dead. Blood leaked from his ears. June 6, 2011. We had a funeral for him. I still miss him. Whenever I hear Lavender Town's music, I always feel the pitch is getting lower. Then, I can feel blood leaking out of my ears. Not all creepypastas are fake. Okay. All right, so check it. This is an issue I have with some people because I actually had to like explain this to a few people that were like, if it's real, it's not creepypasta, and like, it's not what creepypasta is defined as. In fact, definition. Okay. So creepypasta is defined is a genre of short, scary stories and urban legends that are spread online, often through forums. It is not contingent on whether or not it's real or not, necessarily. So creepypasta stories are often presented as real or based on true events, which can make them especially scary. Some examples of creepypasta include Slenderman, Ben Drowned, Catastrophe, Crow. Is that was that a creepypasta at some point? I thought that was someone's project. Ted the Caber. I haven't heard of that one. Of course, Smile Dog. So yeah, like it's things meant to unnerve and scare the reader. Whether they're real or not does not matter in regards to like, is it a creepypasta? It's normally an internet story. Most likely they're going to be fake, but it can be a true story. And like the fact that you don't necessarily know every time gives some credence. And some people have even made stories that are, some of them are true events, and we've looked them up here. In fact, we looked at one earlier today on this stream. Um, uh, yeah, Laughing and Crying in Cedro Woolley, where kid's mother dies by ending herself. He laughs every time it happens. Dad beats him, and then he's only crying. And then kid runs away, and dad goes searching for him, and they're never seen again, and they're probably dead. That kind of thing. It's like, fucking hell. So yeah, some of these might be real or actually based on real events. There's the one where the old man, uh, the issue was he stepped on the gas instead of the brakes, and he ran over a kid and proceeded to run into some people's kiosks or whatever. Their setups, their outside setups, kind of like Sadie's, but or no, more closer to like a little farmer's market, outside farmer's market, maybe. I don't know. Where you set up your little tent or whatever. That's what that was, and that was played like, oh, it's because they were trying to do a little immoral thing, like I said earlier. Yes, doesn't necessarily mean they're not. They being a creepypasta does not mean it's contingently got to be fake. Because every single one of these that are on this list I got from the Creepypasta Wikia, by the way. All 8,820. Alright. Lying awake. Many thoughts race through your brain as you lie awake on a sleeping night, staring at the ceiling. There could be a trouble in your life, such as a big report due for work, or possibly a date the next day. Maybe someone in the family has just passed away, or maybe you are just struggling to drift off into dreamland. As whatever is racing through your brain runs its course, you can't help but help not to notice a tiny bug crawling across your wall to the left of you just as you turn your body to a more comfortable position. You observe it for a few minutes, and as it wanders aimlessly along the wall, you can't help but think if there is something larger watching over you. You think, am I as insignificant as that bug? You wonder what your true purpose is, why you're here on Earth. Has someone placed you here for a reason? Are you just a product of evolution and nature? You can't understand. And in a childish, futile effort, you call out to an empty house, "Is anybody watching me?" Just then, a response from the furthest corner of the room. "I thought you'd never ask." "Hi, my name's Jim. How you doing?" I just likes to watch you sleep. I'm a weirdo. That's what that brings to me. Oh, shit. Sorry, I got sent something. U.S. city tells residents to stop sticking Google eyes on the sculptures. The city council of the U.S. has asked people to stop sticking plastic googly eyes on sculptures. These are on deer. Oh, that's funny. Please don't stop. For the love of God, don't stop. Keep it going. It needs to keep going. I need you to keep going. Oh man, that's funny. That's really fucking funny. Okay. Alright, that's all good. That's funny. Alright. Anyway. Left in thought. As I sit here and revel in my thought, I noticed how eerily quiet it has become. Then I look over my shoulder and see all around me, my peers seem to hold a conversation, but yet I could not hear them. I began to realize that I was deep in thought, deep enough to where I lost all hearing. As I began to talk, I noticed no one was listening. So I began to talk louder and louder until I was screaming, but yet no one could hear me. Then a thought occurred. Am I trapped in silence? Forever? Can it be true? Am I truly trapped forever screaming in silence? It is true. I'm stuck in this dark void I call my inner thought. Then everything goes dark. Hours go by and nothing happens. I take notice of this small but bright glowing, if you wish to call it, object. The weird thing is it appears to be expanding and contracting like it is being controlled. I start to call out, "What is this?" I ask, but no sound comes out. But this object seems to be comforting, so I give it a name. Lightly, I call it. At the pure at the pure thought of this name, the object at the mere thought of this name, the object seemed to react with glee. Just as I get accustomed to my new friend, he starts getting smaller and dimmer until I am completely alone. Again, I am left alone in this maddening silence. But as I start to lose hope, a stranger appears. I start to walk towards the stranger, and he began to walk towards me. As we are a few feet away from each other, he greets me with a smile. As soon as I get closer, his smile turns into a twisted smile, and he pulls out a dagger, and in one swift slicing motion, he has slit my throat open. I fell on my knees and looked up to see his twisted smile on his face get bigger. But then I realized I am finally able to escape this silent hell. First time I smiled, and that it all faded, and I was gone. Alright. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just want to check on something. Hot mic. So I just had to check on something. My apologies. My apologies. Anyway, it's just kind of mad at me. I can't say I care for this one so much. Maybe it's a lack of understanding, perhaps? But really, this is kind of mundane. Maybe it's because, like, I'm not sure I understand enough to, like, make this something scary to me, but I don't know, what have you. Left. First pasta. Leave some feedback. Lava sharks. Oasis is real. I can prove it. Master Chief 405. Alright. Left. It was 4:23 a.m. when he awoke from his slumber, pooled in sweat, and for a moment forgot where he was. He'd been drinking, of course. The alcohol often woke him early in the morning with the urge to urinate. His headaches were never this powerful. He stumbled into the dark hallway with a feeling of nausea. Suddenly, he heard a loud thump from downstairs. He quickly dismissed it as his mind playing tricks on him. But again, he heard the noise. Now very loud. He gripped the handrail and quietly peeked his head down the stairs. It was pitch black, but the noise was obviously coming from the kitchen. He took a single step downstairs, and thankfully, the floor didn't creak. He took another step, and another, and another. Before he knew it, he was at the bottom of the stairs, and at this point, the noise had stopped. Whatever was making that noise was watching. Waiting. He cautiously walked toward the kitchen, his feeling of nausea replaced by fear and terror. He heard a step from behind, and he snapped back, but found nothing. He turned back around. Still nothing but darkness. From out of nowhere he heard a window shatter, and he grabbed his baseball bat. "Old Reliable" was written on the bat, with a Sharpie. He walked into the kitchen and looked at the back door. The window was shattered, but there was no glass on the floor. His worst fears had been confirmed. Whatever was in his house had left. Shadow Oasis is real. I can prove it, Master Chief. I don't know what that means. Anyway, this is by Lava Shark. Alright. So I'll say this. Your writing is very good. Like, the bar is not that high, but this is like really not bad. Like, it's pretty solid work. I'm not sure if the thing was he was actually keeping something there, or what, or if this is a just all drunken stupor issue, and we're not necessarily sure that he's sobering up. I don't know. Ooh, look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. Click. Nope, shit doesn't come up. Fuck. Alright. The Legend of Buckeye. The Legend of Buckeye is a well-known legend in the state of New Jersey. Many of you may know it. Some of you may not. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. There was once a common rivalry between two New Jersey football teams. One chilly fall night, there was a very important game for the two teams. The winner had bragging rights for the rest of the year. During the game, one of the key players, known as Buckeye, jumped up for a pass and got tackled extremely hard in midair. He was downed and on the field with his head turned a full 360 degrees. Their team lost, and they were cursed, never winning a game again. Many years later, after the school burned down in a terrible accident, three drunken teenagers decided to go fool around at the field. One of the teens decided to yell, "Hey, Buckeye, I bet you can, I bet I can beat you in a race from this side of the field to the other." Suddenly, a pair of red eyes appeared on the other side of the field. The three teens then heard a deep, devilish voice say, "Run." They ran. Only one teen returned home. The next day, the police investigated the field the next day, looking for two missing teens. They found two bodies, their heads turned a full 360 degrees. The police couldn't find who had committed the crime, and they probably never will either. By Weshkel. Is it supposed to be Weshkes? WESCHKE 55? Are they supposed to represent ESs? Okay, I'm curious. New Jersey football. Football. Buckeye. So, I wonder. Say hotel, just big rival. Okay, I'm not finding anything necessarily there. Was there any other thing? Alright. Buckeye football jersey. Ghost? Legend of Buckeye. Isn't the name of the dead football player that most of the local kids of Lambertville remember. It is Billy that the ghost is called. Oh shit. Hold up. Hold the fucking phone. Hold up. Let's check this out. Okay. Lambertville High and the Legend of Buckeye. The town of Lambertville is a great place to grow up, especially in the 80s, and all my friends, Mohawks, whatever. Behind school. Still marked clearly with a rusty old goalpost, but is where the weirdness begins. The story of Buckeye. It was a cold day in the middle of November. 1935, Lambertville High was doing the usual thing, getting ready for a big game. What was it? And this was one of the biggest days. And then New Hope, the ball was running a touchdown, a wide receiver, and the receiver from New Hope was tackled. Everyone was surprised he didn't get up. The coaches rushed the field, but the boy was dead. His neck broken, and his head was almost turned completely around. Oh my god, this has happened. The game was forfeited. And they killed. Petitioned that football was too dangerous. Oh my god. This is one of the things that created more fucking shit. I challenged Buckeye to race across the football field. Everyone laughed and continued on with their drinking. Pretty soon, a cold wind started to blow, and everyone became silent. So a pair of evil red eyes appear in the darkness, and the voice whispered to them, "Run across the field from end to end or die." One of the boys turned and started to run, and he fell to the concrete, cold and blue. The remaining boys heard the voice again, so they all lined up on one side of the field and began to run to the other side. They ran all that they could and finally reached the other side. Another one of the boys was missing. They all ran home and locked the doors behind them, not saying a word about what just happened. Say the parents of the two missing boys called the police. The bodies were discovered up at the old high school. Their heads almost turned completely around. The innocent was blamed on a fight. Signs were posted and on a chain link fence installed in the driveway of the old school. Holy shit, challenging Billy, not Buckeye, to an unfriendly game of ball. Oh my god. That's fucking nuts. Dude. Dude, this shit's an actual legend. No fucking wonder. And you know, especially, you know, the past couple months with the football season, I've heard football all over the place and them saying, ah, yeah, but, you know, football has turned everyone into pussies now that they have so many regulations and shit. And I'm like, it's because of this shit. It's because of this shit. Kids shouldn't be playing football like people in college. They're still developing, man. God damn. It's not exactly the same story, but for fundamentally, story exists on its own. Lambertville, New Jersey. Motherfucker. Dude, that's so surreal. Alright. Okay, anyway. As that goes. Shit. Legend of Zelda. Link's Nightmare DX. Hey Jack, wanna have my old Zelda game? My friend Aaron said. I started thinking about this game. I didn't know what Zelda game it was, but I was hoping it was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, or short for Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I got the cartridge and it was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. I was starting my Game Boy Color and it felt weird. Link was in a dark ship and the water was red and Link had red eyes. Oh, I've read this one before. As the lightning struck the ship, Marin came and then started crying for some reason. Then Link washed up on the island. Marlin was hungry. She then ate Link. But this was just the beginning. Link was still alive, but his body was all disfigured and was all bloody. Link said, I'm going to kill everybody. A screech appeared. And I started controlling him to get his sword. I encountered an Octorok, and Link was grinning and started killing the Octorok with his hands. This was only day 1. Day 2. Link's Nightmare. I woke up and started playing Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, or should I say Link's Nightmare. I just noticed I was close to fighting the last boss. What the fuck? Jesus, you went through that whole game? Or did you just, like, pop it in and then... Okay, whatever. Link was in the cave and I had just started getting scared. I played other games such as Mario Bros, Pokemon, Star Fox, and F-Zero. I wanted to end this really quickly so I won't die from this dark horror. Well, I won't die from this dark whore? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Later I got the Yoshi doll, but it was weird because I had already did that. The Yoshi doll looked bloody, nasty, and scary. I restarted the game, and the windfish egg was not there, but it was Link staring at me. Final day. It was my last day playing this shit. I was on the last boss, but there was nobody there. Link said, "It's your turn to die now. I have killed everybody in this game, and you will die." I started getting sick and felt like I was poisoned. I quickly ran to my mom to take me to the hospital. Epilogue. I was feeling okay. I felt really happy and going to go home. I still remember that dark whore. As I went home, I took the game, burnt it, and smashed it. Now, I'm not friends with Aaron, but I will still play Legend of Zelda. Aaron, as far as we know, had not shit to do with that. He just gave you a game. We don't know that he necessarily had anything to do with it yet, okay? So don't go blaming the urn. Blaming your urn. Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, The Flood. Okay. Is this gonna end up like a lore video? Video. There we go. Okay. Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, The Flood. Why did Hyrule flood? Was it the gods? Or was it something more? I'm writing this to explain the theory of why the gods decided to flood Hyrule. In Ocarina of Time, after Link defeated Ganondorf, he was given the choice to either stay as an adult or go back and enjoy his childhood. He was not given a choice. If he decided to go back to his childhood, the world would eventually have him running into Termina. Because Termina is a parallel universe, or rather a different universe, the gods had created an exact replica of Link, just in case Ganondorf was to return. Like, they didn't know where Link was. This brings up the question, are there different gods in Termina? One could assume that after Link left Hyrule, that he was brought out of the gods' reach.
I'm going to lay down.
Okay.
Don't stay up all night, okay?
No, I won't. I love you.
I love you too.
Link that was brought out of the gods' reach. If so, that may explain why the Triforce was unspoken or depicted in any way. I'd have to go back and look, but I want to say I saw the Triforce a couple times. Oh, you know what would be telling? If it's not on his hand. Well, no, you didn't see it on his hand to begin with. In Ocarina of Time. I don't know. I got the art book now. Maybe it is in there. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. That's weird. Alright. The Terminian gods may actually be the four giants, although they seem to be in an eternal slumber waiting to be asked forth in using their godly might. The giants are considered guardians, not deities, although they have been told to have created the world. But if one considers the term deity, it may bring to mind this form of which Link takes by wearing the fierce deity mask. The physical attributes Link acquires in this state could only be put to that of a god's: huge stature, tribal markings, an enchanted sword, and his near invincibility. The reason why you would think that he is too powerful is that his powers are in Link's grasp only during the Majora's Mask boss fight. The only way to counter this is by using a glitch that allows you to use it outside of the battle. When the requirements have been met, you can easily compare the drastic changes in the green hero's size of that of the normal Termina. On the opposite side of the spectrum, you have Majora. What was the beast of which the mask was carved have been considered a demonic being? All the factors exploring his personality point towards this. The mask was sealed for eternity after being carved because of its extraordinary powers, and at the end of the game, the Happy Mask salesman gets his mask back, with its power apparently drained, and vanishes out of sight forever. When we take a look at Wind Waker, it's based several hundred years after the events of Ocarina of Time. The prologue explains that the hero had saved Hyrule from darkness, Ganondorf and his reign, and leaves Hyrule in peace. However, it then begins to detail an evil coming back to Hyrule. Unfortunately, the hero didn't appear this time. Maybe the hero was too busy somewhere else, presumably Termina. This could support the theory that Link returning back to his childhood and soon visiting Termina, leaving Hyrule off guard to dark forces. But what exactly are these dark forces? One theory could allude that the Happy Mask salesman went back to Hyrule and used Majora's Mask to take over the kingdom. From this brings an even more realistic idea. In the events of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Link has to stop the moon from crashing into Clocktown, destroying it. So if it were to happen again in Hyrule, what would be the consequences? Could the moon have smashed into Lake Hylia or a bigger body of water to create a flood? Or was it someone else? Someone who wanted to gain revenge for meeting his terrible fate. Someone who drowned. Oh, it's a Ben drowned. God damn it. I don't think it works this way on this. I think if you had left that out, this would be much more interesting. Leave out Ben drowned. I wouldn't have referenced that at all. So check it. The whole thing is, it's not, because it does say that the hero saved the town, defeated again, but then he came back. He wasn't there. We don't actually know. I don't think we actually know what that's about, because it's not him going to be a kid, because then the events can't take place. The adult events can't take place, because like when you look at Majora's Mask, it's a half sequel, but Wind Waker is years afterwards. So I don't know. I'd have to look into that a bit. But I'm trying to remember my Zelda lore. I mean, this I copied in fucking 2013. So take it with a grain of salt. That might not be completely accurate, if you will. All right. Lego, The Lord of the Rings. Lego, The Lord of the Rings. .exe. I was on my computer. I decided to look up the Lord of the Rings trivia. I started reading until a pop-up suddenly appeared. I opened it, and it said Lego The Lord of the Rings.exe. I heard it was a game for Wii, 3DS, Xbox 360, and so on. I started the download, and when it was done, I went to the title screen. But I didn't see Frodo or Legolas, whom I wished to play as. The game was quiet, so I went to the options and turned up the volume. It said, "Don't do that." I just went on playing the game like an ordinary person would do. I was playing as Legolas until the cutscene appeared. It seemed that Legolas was killing Frodo, and that he was screaming horrifically. Legolas choked Frodo to death and stole his ring. I didn't know Legolas was so evil. After the cutscene, I spawned in Helm's Deep, and the cave trolls spawned as well. Legolas then killed the cave trolls and then stabbed Sam in the face. Legolas shouted, "I will kill all of you." Merry cried out and said, "Why, Legolas?" Legolas then pushed Merry off the parapet. Merry hit the ground with a sickening thud and his guts spilled out all over. I turned off the game and took a nap. I then had a nightmare about what Legolas' plot could be. Determined to beat this thing, I played the game again. Legolas was all bloody and stabbing everyone. By South Thief. I'm sorry, this just ain't good. It really isn't. It's you're taking the game out of itself almost, because you're adding in like this shouldn't be an area where like guts can spill out. This is like where the parts coming, if the Lego pieces themselves come apart, make that significant for one. And like you jump to like how fucked up it is. It's like, oh yeah, don't do that. It's like it's fucking nagging. It feels like the game nags. I don't like it. I'm sorry, South Thief. This one just wasn't that good. It just isn't. I I think there's a way to make it good for like a Lego type, horror story, but this just ain't it, man. Oh, this photo doesn't work. Whatever. First photograph of Leon F. Zoll goes in jail, 1901. Interesting. Okay. Leon Zolgos. Leon Zolgos was an assassin of William McKinney, the 25th President of the United States. He was executed for his crime in October 29, 1901. Among the personal effects found in his cell was U.S. quarter stamped with the date 2218. The face in the profile said the face in profile on said quarter was not George Washington, but rather a face which is yet to be unidentified. Ooh, by antennas to heaven. Let's take a look at that. Let us take a look at that. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Alright, this is what he looks like. I killed the president because he was the enemy of the good people, the good working people. Known for fatally shot. How do you pronounce those? Oh, that was actually gonna bring something. Anyway. Quarter. There isn't much information about Alia Quarter right now. There is some information about 1901 background aftermath. This just goes back to the actual creepypasta. There's no comments. So this is something that actually happened. Assassination. Fair enough. I'm wondering about that quarter. If there's more to that quarter. 2018 quarter. 2218. Oh, man. Oh, hello. To try to fix some mistakes. Assassin, free love. Da, 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 da. Because there is like the whole thing where like people are speculative on like, hey, could he have can people in the future go back in time to set up events? And like, well, if they have, we already know what's gonna happen. All right. I killed the president. Sulfuric acid was thrown on his coffin, so his body would completely dissolve within 24 hours. His letter and clothes were burned. Oh, hello. Revisions. Profile is not George Washington, rather the face is yet to be identified. That's a creepypasta from chance. Certain information is garbage and should be removed. The Washington quarter does not even go into circulation until 1932. Okay. Actually, it's section from the Encyclopedia Dramatica, but that doesn't change the fact that it's bunk. Gotcha. Alright, well. I wanted the quarter to be a thing. So it's the fact that they say that it's a George Washington quarter. It's like they weren't there back then, supposedly. All right. Anyway, interesting though. It still would have been interesting. It's like, yeah, we don't know what this means. Of course, if it was the case that happened, it could very easily be a misprint anyway. All right. Less than a second. You're in your room late at night. You've been on your computer for a while now, and it's almost time to get some sleep. That light behind you is still blazing, cutting a swath through the oppressive darkness of whatever ridiculous hour of the morning this is. In a sleep-deprived haze, you amble over to the light switch and flick it off. You instantly realize you screwed up. Your headphones are lying on the floor, and without the light to see them, you'll probably step on and crush them. Resolving to turn the light back on so you can grab them, you spend less than a second in near perfect darkness as it goes through your mind. When you flick the light back on, you're in a fantastic and dark room. You are also surrounded. You can't really see them, mostly just their shadows are visible as they crouch on all fours all around you. The only features you can make out are hundreds of mouths of jagged, grinning teeth, and a set of glowing red eyes to go with each twisted smile. You almost have no time to scream. Almost. Credit to James V. and Attilio D. This isn't bad. You know, add by DB Head. Okay, so check it. I had a fear of the dark for a while, and my imagination, which I found out was other people had the same thing. Now, mine, it was kind of like skeletal things trying to grab out and get me, but like, I had a hallway that was like, I don't know, barely 15 feet, maybe. So I would run down the hallway when it was dark, but if everything else was dark, it'd be fine. But we had lights at the hallway, and I would always, if I need to turn those lights off in the hallway, I would turn and run. But it was normally light enough that the light from the kitchen or from the living room went pretty far down, and then I would run to my room where I had a nice bright fucking fluorescent ass light, and it'd be all good or whatever. So it was like fucking, well, shit. Yeah, run that. And I would always imagine like these creatures. And at some point, it just got to the point where it felt like, oh yeah, I fucking outran you, motherfucker. It became that thing, and it was just like, huh, okay. Now it's become more of a game. And then eventually I was like, nothing's happening. It's like, okay, I can just fucking walk. Well, it basically became like, okay, there's more shit important than that. And I'm like 5 feet away from needing to scream if I have to. And it wasn't every night either. Alright. Lesser artists. Don't call me that, man. Fucking hurt my feelings. I barely started. Lesser artist. The painter must put all his heart and soul into his work, or his art will be empty and pointless. My friend said to me as he prepared his paints on his glass palette. Thank you, Momo. I watched him smear colors together with his knife, more curious about the pigments than his words. I thought he was just being overdramatic, as I assumed all artists were. I had no idea that he meant it literally. He sketched out vague shapes on his canvas before he ever loaded his brush, needing to figure out where the piece would take him before he started his journey. His wide brush swept across the white plain as I... No, Momo, you're hitting the thing. Lincoln, please don't hit the power button. on my computer. Excuse me. Can you hop down here? I'm paranoid because you don't have much space. You know what? I'll go ahead and at least take out the controller so there's more space to put your foot. I would much prefer you not to be on my printer right now, or even on my desk. I just want Bean. All right, naughty beans. All right, should this be the last one? Maybe. Oh, we're gonna be in L's for a while. Okay. He's a big journey. His wide brush swept across the white plain as I left him to his work. I can only imagine what transpired between this time I left and the time I returned. Did something possess him? Was the act of creating finally too much to handle? Did every stroke eat away at his core, crumbling his sanity into dust? With every scrap of his knife, did he peel off layers of himself? Did he intend to spill open his veins and mouth and body onto the canvas, turning it into a monstrous work of human decay? The painting did not sell, and after all the press people came to see in the gallery, but could not look at it for too long. It stared back at them unblinking, as if challenging them to speak up and fight back. After a while, I put it in storage. I certainly couldn't hang it in my house, although I had many of his other pieces there. I couldn't let it look. Let me smash in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, it happened twice. Fuck yeah. Where was I? I couldn't let I couldn't let it look at me in the way it looked at them. The way it looked at him. Sometimes, when I go down to the gallery basement for old sculptures and sketches, I can see it in the corner of my eye, wrapped in paper and tucked between two file cabinets. The paper wrinkles in the breeze, even though there is none. When looking for new artists to display, I occasionally think of showing it to them to get their reaction. If they love it, will they try to replicate it? Emulate it? Imitate it? If they hate it, will they know better than to give their art their everything? And will they be lesser artists if they don't? By Chamber Gambit. Alright, this one I like it and I don't like it. So I do worry about the multitude of friends or people that I know that are artists that they fucking do art all fucking day if they can. Like, I mean, when they make their art, they are going in it like you don't see them without like a drawing tablet or without like thinking of what to do. And like sometimes that worries me because like they're always on the grind, and being on the grind can be very unhealthy. And like I don't think it's as extreme because like I've got a wife. We like to hang out and chill. So it kind of makes it like I have someone to help regulate it so I don't get to an unhealthy point, which is awesome, by the way. It helps me take care of myself in case I'm neglecting my health and stuff, and like, oh, you need to just chill. And I'm like, okay. And, but yeah, like having a lot of friends who do like art, digital art, or otherwise, and like, man, I hope they're not stressing themselves out and putting so much into it that they lose themselves. Because like I'm wanting to start digital art, and like I don't want anyone to feel like they have to worry about me fucking getting lost in the sauce. All right, how long is the next one? Let's see, it's 12:12. Uh, I just want this one to be the last one. And then we got an appointment tomorrow. I gotta do a few things before I go to bed anyway. Alright. Let me out. It's there with me all the time. In my head. It won't leave me alone. My name is Trey. I've been having these dreams for a while. Weird dreams. I know they're not normal because they're too realistic. It starts out with me running through a forest with something chasing me. Near the end, I trip and the creature heads towards me. And the last thing I see is a shadow. Last night, though, it was different. It started out normal, but when I tripped, I got a good look at the thing chasing me. It was tall, slender, with long, sharp fingers, and it had bulging black eyes, no nose, and its mouth was stitched together. It looked at me for a good while, then spoke. Let me out. My eyes shot open, and I jumped into the sitting position of my bed. It was all a dream. I walked into the kitchen, got a drink of water, and went back to bed. I couldn't sleep, though. The next night I had the same dream, but after it spoke, I didn't wake up. Let me out. Okay, fine. I'll let you out. Don't leave me alone, I said. It then smiled as best it could, disappeared. Now I'm not seeing it, not in my dream. Now I'm seeing it, not in my dreams, but in real life. Others can see it too. I fear I let some demonic force out of the darkest depths of my mind. I fear for my life. Wish me luck. Alright. I think that's good. No? Alright, let me go ahead and write that down. With my shitty government ass pen. So the last one we did was Let Me Out. Oh, there's the fucking Lavender Town by Miu. He has a lot of awesome stuff, so you should check him out. Alright, let's go all the way to the top and see where we're at. As far as how many we've done. I like seeing the number grow. Not to mention, it's kind of refreshing now that I don't have to read the Bible anymore. I finished reading the Bible. That was a long ass read. For the book I had was 1,100 pages. And I read it all at work. Alright. So we're at 1,265 pastas down. So now it's just 7,540 more, 20 more, whatever. A little under 600. Awesome. And then next week I'll be doing an episode of S&G. I've been collecting up topics to talk about and bring up and check out and stuff. I remember to finish that. And then I think one of the things I'll do on the stream after that, whenever it may come, is that I might do like a another analytics review over the past year. I like doing that. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, oh, shit. I wrote down the wrong one. Just let me out. Fuck, I put down letter from war. You know what? I can go ahead and read it. I can go ahead and read it real quick. Letter from war. During the war, a soldier faithfully wrote his mother every week so she would know he was all right. Until one week she didn't get a letter and immediately began to worry. Within a couple of weeks, she got a letter from the army saying that her son had been captured and is being held in prison in a prisoner of war POW camp. And they assured her that they had no reason to believe the American prisoners were being mistreated in any way. A few weeks later, the woman finally received another letter from her son. It read, "Dear Mom, try not to worry about me. They are treating us well, and I'll be released as soon as the war is over. Make sure that little Teddy gets the stamp for his collection. Love you, Joe." The woman was overjoyed to hear the news, but was confused why she had no idea who little Teddy was. She decided to steam the stamp off the envelope and have a look. That's when she saw written on the back of the stamp were the words, "They've cut off my legs." Oh, fuck. Oh, he snuck it there to tell what's really happening. He lies about his brother so that way he can... Oh my god. Fuck, dude. That would be terrifying. Oh my god. Alright. Well, I think that'll pretty much be it. Lines are down. Alright, so. Awesome. I don't know when we'll be doing another reading. I might make it a tradition for October to do a bunch of Creepypasta. I mean, we got through a whole bunch of them. Alright. Okay, the math is bothering me now. I gotta know. Calculator. Alright. 8820 minus 1265. 7,555. That's how many we have left. Awesome. It's a good number. It's a good number. Alright. Go ahead and cut the music out. Alright, so awesome. We're getting through them. We're going for it. And, my god. One of these days, we'll finally be in the second pages. And then there should be a pretty decent jump in overall quality at that point. Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully there'll be at least a decent chunk of overall quality, because normally when you see these things, they normally get better. Normally. I just don't know how to title some of these first ones. But, like, yeah. Alright, anyway. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to like, comment, share, follow, and all that jazz. Wait. I need to... There we go. Rings of 4. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. Whatever, follow. You know, I don't have anything nailed down. You can always check me out on my Patreon. You can check out... Patreon did twice? Damn. 3 times. You can still find me on Twitter. Of course, there's always my YouTube channel. I am on Facebook, but I need to make a new page. I said I was going to make a new page. I didn't like the old one. And then, of course, I'm on Blue Sky, which is relatively new. Good night, buddy. Rest up and see you next time. Yeah, hopefully next week. I'm not sure what time next week. I'm off Monday through Thursday. Set it up so I can have a 4-day weekend, and then 30th through the 2nd for 2 sets of 4 days off, which will be fucking awesome. So hopefully everything will go well. And I'll figure out if I want to stream more than once per week during that little bout. I was thinking maybe I can at least get 3 streams in during those 2 weeks. So yeah. Really glad to get through a bunch more stories. I like how real some of them got, and how good some of them were this time. Like 2 Cents horror stories, dude. They're fucking no joke. Um. So, once again, thank you all for watching. And always remember, you have potential. Good night.